This is the Big O Show. 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 This is
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Welt Rheaume has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welt Rheaume, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welt Rheaume can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welt Rheaume can help. Call 954-966-4646.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Kane's Ware at Miami Fanware in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Kane's Ware, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmith in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business, car key replacements, and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield Home Security System guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty, good morning. Welcome aboard. It is time to rock and roll on the show. Are you ready, Alarmo? Are you ready to rock and roll? Alarmo is ready to go. Sean Stanley is ready to go. I hope you all are ready to go for the next 3 horas here on the program. Hope all is well out there. And a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday. I hope it's a beautiful Tuesday where you're at. I know it is for me, because every day that you're up and you open your eyes, it is a beautiful day. It is a blessing every single day. We got a lot of things to do today. We got a lot of people to talk to. And, of course, we've got a lot of things to talk about. Dolphins and Bears on Sunday. We've got FSU Miami on Saturday. By the way, we will be at Walk-Ons in Kendall on Saturday night, and we'll be giving away all kinds of prizes and stuff. So come on out and join us on Saturday night. A great way to watch the game. The food is amazing. The servers are fantastic. The bar is enormous. There are TVs everywhere. They've got a patio outside. So come on out and join us, man. We're going to make this a tradition out there. So come on out and join us. Great way to support the Canes and do it in a nice, beautiful environment out there at Walk-On. So check it out. Come on out and join us. We'll be out there having some fun on Saturday. Our pregame coverage will start off at 5:30. We're giving away prizes after every single quarter. Okay? So at the end of every quarter, and the 2-minute warning in the fourth quarter, because I got to get back for the post-game show. I know, although one of these days, in the middle of giving all these prizes away, the post-game show is going to start, and Mike's going to have to start the post-game show, and I'm still giving away prizes. That's I could just see that doing and that happening. So would love to meet you, so come on out and hang out with us. We'll talk sports. We'll take a picture, whatever you want to do. And obviously, you'll get to enjoy some great food and great atmosphere with the Canes and the Seminoles on Saturday night. So come on out, man. Let's have some fun. Sad news I saw this morning, and it's one of those deals where, I mean, it had nothing to do really that I was talking about it yesterday, but I told you that it goes on practically almost every day or every week. Definitely every month. guaranteed. And I'm not. I don't like all rap nowadays. Nowadays, I'm very specific. There are, few that I like a Lupe Fiasco or a Nas or Kendrick Lamar. I kind of like those guys. Migos, not necessarily one that I really listen to, and not necessarily one of my favorites or anything like that. But I saw this morning where Takeoff was killed, was shot to death in Houston in a dice game. This is the kind of shit that goes on. Like, the guy's 28 years old. And I'm sure there's tons of you that love Takeoff and Migos. I know they broke up and all that kind of stuff. And two of them were working on them, on music, and one was on his own and all that kind of stuff. But over a dice game, bro. Like, this is like all the freaking time. Gun violence is a problem in our society, period. But in rap, it's the only genre of music that has like an enormous gun violence problem, dude. We are gunning down rappers left and right. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You know what I mean? So it's hilarious because we were talking about Live yesterday, and it was like the golf tournament, and some guy thought that I had something against rap and Live, and I'm like, no, dude, I love rap. Mostly old rap, obviously. More 80s, 90s. New rap, it's very few that I like. There aren't a lot. But the violence I hate. I can't stand the violence. I mean, it's ridiculous, dude. So many of these young men that are talented as hell, and they get themselves involved in all this stuff, and then I don't know. To me, you got to use a gun, you're a coward. You know what I mean? That's all these people that use guns are just cowards. But it's a shame. It really is. 28 years old. Thoughts and prayers to him and his family, and obviously his partners also in the music biz, man. Just rough. I saw that this morning, and it reminded me exactly of what I was talking about yesterday, and sadly there'll be another rapper in the next couple days or a week or a month that will fall victim to another gun crime, one way or the other, whether he's in front or behind the gun, one of the two. And stuff's gotta stop, man. It's really ridiculous. There's really no place for it all over the world. We just gotta stop it. So let's hope that happens. Anyway, if you all want to get in, you can reach out to us on the Welt and Rheaume text line at 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the Welt and Rheaume text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That is at Big O Show. Follow us there as always, because that, my friends, is a 24-hour talk show. Lisa says, let's rock, Fins fans. Browns and Brisket helped us out last night. Let's see what moves Greer and company can make today. Well, they'll try. I don't know if they'll make. And I put out some notes yesterday. I'm not exactly sure that Denver is. I saw a report, and I don't know the gentleman from the Sun Sentinel that put out the report. I'll disagree with a couple things that were on that report. One, no, they're not trading Byron Jones. They're not trying to trade Byron Jones. They can't trade Byron Jones. He's injured. So that makes no sense whatsoever in that report. Okay? There was something else in that report that also didn't make sense. And now as for Chubb, I'm not sure Denver is the seller people think they are. I think Judy they'll unload. I think the Chubb one has to be an offer that would be just earth-shattering. But I don't think they want to get rid of Chubb like they have to. You know what I'm saying? And plus, you also have to sign him to a contract. And they just won this week. And the crazy thing is that most teams are still like Cleveland winning yesterday. Do you realize that mathematically that keeps him alive? So then they have to decide, do we give up on the season and start trading away pieces? You know, Greedy Williams is a corner that could be available from Cleveland. And I've talked about him, not a fit for Miami. Not going to happen here. So if Greedy's on the trade block, it won't happen here. I can guarantee you that already. What else am I, what else am I guessing about right now? So that, and one more thing. You also have to think of when you make a trade. Are you renting a player for the remainder of the season? But like, I'll give you an example. Roquan yesterday went for a second and a fifth, was it? Yes, a second and a fifth round pick. Now let me run something by you. They had contract negotiations going on with the Bears. The one part of the Bears offer was a league record for his position, and the contract talks stalled. So he wants a lot of money. The Ravens, from what I understand, have made a trade. I did not hear about a contract agreement, which again, this goes into the Laramie Tunsil stupidity for the Houston Texans. You do not make this trade without agreeing to a contract at the same time. If you can't agree to a contract, you can't make the trade. Well, Chubb, you're going to have to give up a lot to get Chubb from the Broncos. But the problem is with that is you also have to agree to a contract. Now, let me remind you something, Miami Dolphins fans, and you can thank effing Flores for this. You're now finding out about Tua, but you're finding out about Tua in his third year. Even though I felt he was a baller from year one, all he needed was the support. That doesn't mean shit. We have to actually see it. You know what I'm saying? And so now you're seeing it. And so you have to remember, you need to pay Tua in 2 years. So after next season, you're already negotiating a new contract with Tua. You're not going into year 5. Thanks, Flo, you asshole. And then you also have to pay Javon Holland, who's going into his third year next year. He's a second-round pick, not a first-round pick. You don't have a fifth year. So you will be paying Javon Holland a shit ton of money. Oh, I'm sorry. Jalen Waddle. You will be paying a shit ton of money for Jalen Waddle. You know, people like to play this fantasy game, but there's reality to all of this too. You just paid Tyreek Hill a shit ton of money. So the cap space thing for the Dolphins is going to get ugly very shortly. And you just can't go trade for Bradley Chubb because what are you going to do? Give up all those picks and just rent him? You have to also sign him. But think about the 3 monsters you have to re-sign in the next 2 years. And you've already signed a monster just this offseason. And you signed another monster in the offseason named Teron Armstead. You can only sign so many monsters since we're coming off of Halloween. Okay? We're not the show here to blow smoke up your ass. We're not the show that tries to create fantasy trades and hypotheticals and all that. We keep you grounded. We try to tell you exactly what's going on and also what could be going on behind the scenes, because sometimes people like to play fantasy games. So you have to be very careful, okay? And Roquan wants a new contract, and he wants some big-ass money. But you have some big-ass money you're going to have to deal. So you may be renting a player like a Kareem Hunt for a 4th rounder, but you may not be giving him a long-term contract. You may be renting a player that you can get from somewhere else. But the Gesicki trade Gesicki could be part of a trade, but you also the limitations are there because it's a hard cap number and it's closer to $6 million at this point, and they have to have the cap space. So I get that, people throw out these trades and the Dolphins this, and when I saw that trade right away and they throw in Byron Jones, I knew right away that report is, not very accurate. I'm sorry. Disagree with that report completely on that. There's no way Byron Jones is being shopped anywhere. He's injured and overpaid right now because he's injured. Why would anybody acquire Byron Jones? It's ridiculous. Would make zero sense to do that. Trade for an injured player? Come on, man. So look at what's going on. And yes, I think the Dolphins are going to try to make a move. They're going to try to make a move for a corner. They're going to try to make a move for a pass rusher. They're going to try to make a move for a safety. They're maybe try to make a move. I don't think for an offensive lineman. I don't think so. But safety, corner for sure, defensive end I can see. But I'm thinking more of a rent a player than anything else, because of what's looming ahead. And so I don't think you were going to trade for Roquan, and I don't think you're going to really trade for Chubb. Okay? And you just signed Agba. Oh, I'm sorry. What happens if Jalen Phillips develops? Which I expected. So that's year 3 coming up next year. You have to be very careful with all of this stuff. So there aren't a lot of guys that you can go out and give a whole ton of money. You have to be very disciplined in what you're doing, because you're hitting on picks, which means you then have to re-sign some of these people. You're going to lose some because you can't re-sign all. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I forgot about this. Did Christian Wilkins get a new contract there, Sean? Forgot about this. Hold on. I'm trying to remember. Does Christian Wilkins have a contract, or is he finishing up his current contract? Because I don't remember him signing a long-term deal. There you go. There's another one that I'm forgetting. My bad. Okay? It's another player. Huh?
Yeah, I don't think it says he's positioned to get a big contract for 2024 and beyond. So you got
his contract is through this year.
Yeah, 10.8.
And then he has the 23 at $10.7 million. That's a hard cap number. Guess what they have to do to that number? They have to renegotiate that number so they can bring it down. He had salaries of $495,000, 1.2, 1.9, 2.6, and now 10.7. Okay? His dead cap number his first year was 15.4, 12.6, 9.1, 4.9. It jumps to 10.7 next year. So guess what that means? You must sit down this offseason and renegotiate a long-term contract with Christian Wilkins to lower that $10 million number next year. We keep you informed. We keep you level-headed. We keep you honest on this show. Wilkins, Jalen Phillips, Javon Holland, Tua Tagovailoa, and Jalen Waddle. That's a lot of money that needs to go out. Oh, and by the way, Brandon Jones was headed for a new deal also. You only get 4 years with his ass too. Not a first-round pick. Okay, and I know he blew out a knee, and I know he'll rehab it and come back next year. But you're not re-signing Brandon Jones? If he comes back next year, looks healthy by the end of the year, you're tagging him, you're doing whatever. Yeah, remember I told you that he hit on 5 of his last 7 draft picks? Now you're paying for it. Okay? So I'm just saying, man. This isn't a game. There's real here. So you just can't have every free agent that's out there, and you're not going to be able to re-sign every free agent out there. So the Chubb and the Roquan stuff, it sounds really nice, but you also have to look at what you have ahead that you're going to have to re-sign eventually. So there you go. Big O, this is what you get when you have a good draft and GM to work. That's right. That's right. So, it's just the way it is. You're going to have to re-sign people. And I don't want Christian Wilkins to go anywhere. I don't know about you, but the only thing I don't want Christian Wilkins to do anymore is celebrate with any of his teammates. Are we clear on that? That's it. There we go. What the hell is that? Okay. All right. That's an interesting ring. All right. Anyway, so there you go. And by the way, if your business wants to be a part of our business and our platform, 786-754-4664 is our business line. That was the business line ringing there. 786-754-4664. That's not for sports talk or anything. That's all business. So if your business wants to join our platform, great way to brand, great way to find new customers anywhere, by the way. South Florida, Florida, the nation, worldwide. So that's the beauty of the platform. We're all over the place. Although we're still looking for our first sponsor that wants to fly us out of the country to their business. Although it cannot be in North Korea, Cuba, Russia, China, those kind of countries. We want no part in that stuff. We want to go to, decent countries that actually allow their people to be free and, that kind of stuff. So if you're a sponsor overseas, you want to fly us over and promote your business, bring it on. Sean is ready to go overseas. He told me, he goes, man, I can't wait to go overseas somewhere to do the show. Stephen Allen says, Big O, you may have mentioned this already, but can you just trade all of your high draft picks away for higher pay players because you have to have solid draft picks to start to offset the salaries? Well, no, you can't do that, Stephen, because no. That's counterproductive now, the way I think I'm understanding your question. You can trade away your picks for established players already, but you can only do that a couple times. You can't do that a lot because you only have so much cap space. You have to hit on draft picks because the draft picks allow you to get the player cheap for the first 4 or 5 years before you have to pay them. And that's the trick. So that's why I tell you this, that it's the most important thing is to hit on street free agents, undrafted free agents, college players, late draft picks, all of that kind of stuff. You need to do that. That you have to be really good in the draft. It's a beautiful problem to have that you can't re-sign everybody. Miami wasn't able to re-sign everybody in the past because most players didn't want to be here. Okay. So unless you ridiculously overpaid for them, that's it. So it's just, you got to be able to hit on draft picks. That's the only way you really are able to build teams. The Rams, they fast-tracked their championship. It's not normal to do that. Things went their way. They were able to get away with it, but the best way to do it is to draft really well, so that way you're able to re-sign most of the guys you want to re-sign. The guys you lose, you then get compensatory picks in return. And if you continue to draft well, remember what I've told you for decades now on the show. I can say not years, I can say decades. It's not where you draft, it's who you draft. And you can hit on the Brandon Jones, you can hit on the Skylar Thompsons, you can hit on the Andrew Van Ginkels, you can hit on later draft picks. You can find those players if you know what you're doing. You can hit on them on the back end of the first round, on the back end of the second round. All your picks don't have to be in the top 5. Javon Holland and Xavier Howard are two of the best players at their positions, and they were chosen in the second round. You can either go with Eddie Moore, or you can end up with Anquan Bolden, who might give you a Hall of Fame career. It's not where you pick, it's who you pick. That's how it always is. So the most important thing is to have a front office that can find players constantly in the draft, undrafted, and that's what they're doing. And that's why you're going to have some beautiful problems coming up trying to re-sign everybody. Let's see what we got here. Back in the day, early first-round picks were crazy expensive. I think Vernon Davis was the highest-paid first-round pick at the time. Yeah, that's when they used to give out all those crazy signing bonuses, and Sam Bradford stole a shit ton of money in this league. Jesse K says, don't trade for Chubb. He's only played 41 games in 4 years. He would cost an absurd amount of money, and you would have to drop Agba or Phillips out of the rotation, and we paid Agba a ton. Not a ton. $9 million a year is not a ton. I don't know if you're a Cuban, but that was very Cuban of you right there. Because we exaggerate the hell out of things. $9 million a year is not really earth-shattering money. Big O, true. Now the Rams are on the hike and on the hike, and their future does not look good. They mortgage their future for that Super Bowl. I mean, listen, Jamie, I'll take the Super Bowl. Because for, 40-something years, 50-something years, we haven't seen a title. So I will mortgage anything for one championship. I got to say, it worked out. God bless them. They got it done. It happened. So if you have to pay the price, we've been paying the price, and the Dolphins haven't won anything. They barely even go to the playoffs. So I'll take that. I'll take the mortgage. Let's see what else. Big O, Conklin. No, Conklin is done, Gilbert. He would be a rent-a player. But all those injuries, he's not that guy anymore, dude. He's not that guy. But if they're going to give up some late pick for him and just kind of use him for depth purposes, then I can see that. But Austin Jackson is coming back. Unlike Byron Jones, who knows what new ailment he has this week. Austin will come back, and you'll get some depth. And Snell has turned out to be a pretty good player. So we talked a little bit about the trade with the Dolphins and what was going on also with Roquan, as he was wanting a lot of money. and everything that the Dolphins have to do down the line that's coming up that I don't think people realize. That they've got a lot of contracts that they're going to have to dish out in the next couple of years. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that you make a Super Bowl run. I know some of you are starting to laugh at that. But you want to try to make that Super Bowl run this year, next year, or the year after. Because after year 5, that big-ass contract for Tua will kick in. So you will have to, get your shit done now. You could do it after. It's just going to be a lot harder once all those salaries kick in. You'll have less space. But again, the most important thing is to continue to hit on your picks. You got to do that. Last night, let's talk about a couple things last night, Tua related. Okay? First of all, I'm watching Joe Burrow. Okay? And I'm a Joe Burrow guy. While I don't believe in Justin Herbert, I do believe in Joe Burrow. And this is to defend Joe Burrow. But I know that my guy would not get the same treatment. So Joe Burrow's missing his number 1 wide receiver. Although we do say they have the best wide receiving core in the NFL. So the other 2 guys are supposed to carry their weight too, right? I'm just saying. Because Waddle carried his weight without Tyreek. Again, just saying. Anyway, so Joe Burrow is missing his number 1 wide receiver, and his offensive line still sucks. No matter what moves they made, how much money they spent, the offensive line is still a mess. So I will defend him that, there's a reason why he hasn't looked good there. But do you see them ripping Joe Burrow all over the place? What would happen if that was Tua yesterday? Would he get the break that Chase is not there? Would he get the break that the offensive line is not playing well? Because he played behind a shitty offensive line for 2 years, and yet they killed the kid. He had a receiving core that couldn't stay healthy. He had only 1 receiver that was reliable last year in Waddle. He had no offensive coordinators, no running game. And Joe Mixon isn't nearly as good as he was the last year or 2. Right? So legit excuses for Joe Burrow. Does Tua Tagovailoa get the same legit excuses if he's wearing a Cincinnati Bengals uniform last night? No. Not at all. After last night's game, Tua sucks. Tua has a weak arm. Tua's not a franchise quarterback. You got to go draft somebody. We should have gotten Tom Brady. We should trade for Lamar Jackson. We should trade for Garoppolo. We should have drafted Herbert. That's all the shit we would have heard last night. Okay? Last night, that's what we would have heard if it was Tua and not Burrow. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's the double standard is a joke. And by the way, I said this on Twitter last night. I'm going to keep bringing it up because the treatment of Tua was a disgrace. It was just insulting. And the extremes people went to go out of their way to trash the kid. For no reason at all. Same things that happened to a growing quarterback like him happened to every other one. But no, in Tua's case, those of you that made the declaration that he can't play, you're all eating crow right now. A ton of crow. And I would hope by now most people have admitted that they were wrong about Tua. But the treatment and the unfair treatment will continue. Why? Because there's a lot of you that are butthurt. So you're waiting. You're hiding in the shadows, waiting for an opportunity to see if you can justify your position. But last night, Joe Burrow's 0-3 against Cleveland. Can you imagine if Tua was 0-3 against, the Jets or something like that? They would kill him for the Buffalo stuff. When it's a Dolphin thing, not really a Tua thing. But that's all I thought of last night. When I'm watching Joe Burrow struggle, I'm going, if this is Tua, they're assassinating him. Hilarious. Just hilarious. All right, let's switch gears here. Let's get into a little Cameron Wolfe, baby. It is time to unleash the Wolf Pack.
We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolfe. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolfe.
All right, good morning, Cam. Hope you're doing well, my brother.
I am good. Just in the middle of packing up a house, moving to another one.
Is this called a week for you?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Doing my favorite.
That's what I would call moving. I would call moving a week.
Yeah. This is obviously my favorite thing in the world to do: load up boxes and more boxes and more boxes. So not enjoying it, but look, the bright side on the end of the road, I get to move into a brand new house that I bought with my wife and my family, and so I'll deal with the hell week to get to move in day. So
try to make it your last one, bro.
Well, we do. This is not our dream house yet, but this will be our last one for a bit. For sure.
Wow. Okay.
This may be the second to last one. Okay. And it could be the last one for another 10, 15 years, depending on how this works out. So,
well, we know Cam is headed for bigger and better things, so he'll have people packing all his stuff the next time around.
Yeah,
and then they'll be packing and unpacking for him and organizing. So he'll just walk in, and the wife will be just directing people.
Yeah,
see what I'm saying? That's how it goes.
Yeah, that would be lovely. Now today we are going to paint. So immediately when I get done with you, we have the babysitter coming over to watch the daughter, and we're going to go paint a couple walls. My wife wants a different color.
Now, suggestion. The sex dungeon stuff, you guys need to pack that yourselves and keep that away from everyone. I'm just saying. Okay?
We're packing all the boxes. We're packing all our boxes. Nobody's packing our boxes.
Rings, harnesses, all that kind of stuff. Keep that away from everybody.
We're having somebody come in and put them into a truck and deliver them, but we're packing everything.
All right. Nipple clips, all that's hide it from people.
This is what you. You must be saying this. This is what you've got going on.
My sex dungeon's like 3 floors deep, dude. I mean, I've got all kinds of. I can't hide my stuff. You know what I mean? Because it's like a dungeon that's 3 floors down under the house.
Got you.
So
okay,
it's a whole different. I'm never moving. See, that's the difference between you and me. See. I don't have to hide it because it's already hidden, and so that's just a tip. That's all I'm saying. Just a tip to make sure for those of you that are moving, the sex dungeon stuff, move it on your own. Come on. All right. By the way, at any point did that across your mind yesterday while you're watching Joe Burrow with legitimate excuses that his line is struggling, that he's got obviously his top receiver out, although they do have the best receiving core, so they're supposed to have 2 other guys that are studs.
Yeah.
But anyway, if it was Tua last night falling to the Browns 0-3 and not looking, he would have gotten all the blame. Where yesterday, legitimately, you should be defending, Joe Burrow because he's a badass, but he just doesn't have the help right now.
Well, unlike a lot of people in the media, I do not equate everything to Tua and the Dolphins. But I think the reality is, and I think I said this when people were talking about Tua's struggles last year, there's only maybe 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the league that can legitimately overcome everything. And even that is struggles. Like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and really, I mean, you'd be hard pressed. Maybe you can force one of the other guys, but we've seen this year Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers struggle when they've had things breaking down beyond them. And I know they're older, but maybe it might just be those two. It might just be Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen as guys who can lift above their team. And even those guys can only do it to a certain extent. You know, if you take away all of Patrick Mahomes' offensive linemen, he's not going to be Patrick Mahomes. He may still be a good quarterback, but he's not going to be that elite player. And so I think we're seeing with Tua this year what having two top receivers, two speed receivers, as we've talked about with him in Alabama, can do for him. And really the last couple of weeks, having Teron Armstead back healthy has really solidified an offensive line that struggled immensely, even when he wasn't in there.
Big time. All right. So we got the trading deadline today. Your feel for the deadline. Will Miami make a move?
I know they've been making plenty of calls. I can't tell you for sure if they're going to pull the trigger on any of these. A lot of these deals are interesting because you're mortgaging future for, you know, players who are essentially rentals. You have to ask yourself, are we this piece away? Are we, you know, this player who we only get for half a season, then we have to pay a bunch of money away from this? And so I think as fans, as media people, we're all like, go all in, go all in. And then if they're not, then they set themselves back a little bit from contending. So I think there's a little bit give and take. I do know the Dolphins have been active in calls on multiple positions. I would like to see them get some sort of upgrade, particularly on defense, whether it be a cornerback, a safety, an edge rusher, whatever it is. I do think that group, as we saw in the first half versus Detroit, needs more help on the talent perspective to be able to push forward. I think that, to me, is their top priority as far as trade deadline. But I've noted it before. A lot of times it's a disappointing period for NFL teams trade deadline. You have all these conversations. Like, you would be amazed at how many conversations GMs have on the trade market this week.
It's been super active already.
You only hear maybe 5% of the trade talks that actually come up, and most of them, nearly all of them, don't end up happening. And so I think that this trade deadline, there may be 2 or 3 moves across the league before deadline time, but I don't expect it to be a constant wave like baseball. So maybe the Dolphins make one of those moves, but I don't think you should be surprised if nothing happens.
I was telling Dolphin fans before you came on that you got to be careful here, because obviously Roquan got traded yesterday, and I'm sure you got flooded, and so did I. Oh, we should have traded for him. Oh, 2nd and 5th. And I think that the Dolphins, if anything, are probably trying to rent a player. I don't think they're trying to trade for a Roquan or even a Nick Chubb, a Bradley Chubb, I'm sorry, because those are the kind of, and by the way, I think the Ravens are morons. They traded him and they didn't sign him to a long-term deal. That was ridiculous. Roquan already was turning down some serious stuff from the Bears. Mm-hmm. So to me, that's not smart. But my point is, you got Wilkins coming up. You got Waddle, Tua, Javon Holland, and one more that I'm missing that is coming up that you're going to have to pay. But anyway, so you got like 5 players that are going to come up for contracts. And Wilkins, for sure, this offseason, you have to rework his deal already, because he's got a big cap number going into next season. And then you're a year away from, you know, talking about Tua and his extension, and you know, Waddle, you're 2 years away from his. Javon Holland, you're a year away, because you only get a 4th year with him. You don't get the 5th year.
And I'm telling you now, I'm calling it now. I'm not Javon Holland's agent, but he's going to reset the safety market. He's going to be the highest paid safety in the NFL when it's time to get paid. He's that sort of player, and by the time it's payment time, he'll get paid as such. So yeah, you know, and I guess the reality of it, other than the guys that you're already having to pay, guys you've already paid, cap numbers are going higher. Tyreek Hill had a low cap number this year because he just did the deal. Next year and the following year, that cap number is going to be huge. And so even though the cap rises, those players are rising. And there are things that teams can do to work around the cap. The cap isn't this big restriction thing where, hey, they can always work new deals. Creative. But I do think that there has to be a balance between big money star players and role players and rookie contracts. You can't have 10, 12 players who are star big money contracts and you know, a smaller amount there. So it's got to be balanced out. That being said, if you feel like you're close, and this is where you have to have honest internal evaluation, right? Because fans will always want you to push all your chips in. Media will always say, go for it, go for it, go for it. You're a 4-3
Jones,
Dolphins
by
team.
the way. Brandon
Huh?
Jones was the other one. Brandon Jones was the
Brandon
other one.
Jones, right? You're a 4-3 football team who's had a lot of injuries, but you have to ask yourself, in this AFC that's pretty difficult this year, where do you see yourself? Do you say a Bradley Chubb or a Kareem Hunt or a safety, a cornerback of your choosing? Does that guy get you to X from X? Where do you realistically see yourself? And that's the conversation that Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel and Brandon Shore and Marvin Allen and Reggie McKenzie and all those guys out there are having right now, because it's going from a potential playoff team to a second round team worth a first round pick, a second round pick. Is going from a potential wild card team to an AFC championship team worth that. And these are things that you have to weigh. And so I certainly believe they're having these conversations. It wouldn't shock me if they get a deal done. But given they pushed all their chips in for Tyreek, I would be a little surprised if they pushed all their chips in once again and gave up first or multiple first round picks to go get, a guy who may not complete the puzzle. I don't know, at least in my view. Like I said, they have to have their own view. In my view, this team is not one player away from a championship. They are probably.
You agree with me. They're probably not trading for a Bradley Chubb or a Roquan. They're probably trading for I don't know, the running back for Cleveland, the backup. What's his name?
Kareem Hunt.
A rent a player, a guy that we'll give a 4th round pick for the rest of the season. If there's a cornerback out there that can help them out, and they give up some 3rd day pick or something like that, I think that's what they're looking for. I don't think they're looking for a player that they have to give up significant draft capital and then in turn sign that player also to a long-term contract because of everything they've got coming up on the docket. That's the only thing. And by the way, this is a beautiful problem to have, is what I was telling Dolphin fans, because now you're actually hitting on draft picks, which is actually cool.
Right. If you're paying your draft picks, that means you're doing something right. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily rule out all of those guys as far as a trade. Like I said, I would temper expectations. If I'm a Dolphins fan, if they don't make a trade for Bradley Chubb, who, like I said, I think they've had conversations about him. That has, that those conversations have been had. But if they don't make a trade, a big splash, to me, it's not like, I'm so disappointed. This isn't, I think that they considered these things. You just have to weigh where you are in your timeline of competing. And to me, we've seen a lot of bright spots in this team. I think this team can and should be a playoff team. But they have to have internal evaluation of, are they a championship team this year, or is it more of a 2023 effort as they have another year with this group, get a little bit better and that sort of thing. So it's going to be interesting. What do we got? About 5 hours into the deadline. I've done this. This is my 8th year, one of them, covering the league. And I don't think I can remember like a deadline where there was like a huge splash, like right before, like baseball. Like baseball, you all of a sudden you see, hey, this star player gets traded to the Yankees for their 7 best prospects. That doesn't happen in the NFL, but I'm willing to be surprised today, and hopefully there is another fun one somewhere down the chute.
Yeah, baseball, basketball, they will shock you with big deal. This trading deadline,
the Phillies play game 3 tonight.
This trading deadline, by the way, has been one of the most active in the last 15 years already, as it is.
Yeah.
I don't remember this many trades leading up to the deadline in a long time. This is very active.
The other element, we talked a lot about cap, but the other element to know is the cap is going to be rising significantly soon. So you're seeing teams that are taking chances on players like the Ravens had, which could be smart, could be not, but players that are taking chances on guys who are at the end of their rookie contract, who they know they're going to have to get paid, but not necessarily re-signing them yet, because they're either wanting to see the last half year, they're betting that they can re-sign them with that healthy contract, or they're saying they're doing the Rams route, which the Rams did with Von Miller, where we let you play out the year, and if you play over your expectations, then hey, it was worth it for us to make a run, and we'll get a comp pick in a year. And so some teams are going that route. The Rams did that. I think they should have found a way to re-sign Von Miller, but he played so well, won them Super Bowl, and then played his way out of their price range. And so that's a good problem to have. I'm sure if the Ravens, if Roquan Smith plays so well that they win a Super Bowl and he plays his way out, they're going to be like, hey, we'd love to have you, Roquan, but that trade was worth it. Have fun with signing for whoever you can for as much as you can. I'm not saying
why you got to do that? Why do you not? There might be a Raven fan out there, and you just filled their head up with a bunch of bullshit. Why do you do that? The Ravens have no shot. They'll be lucky to make the playoffs, and that's about it. They'll like they normally do. They'll appear in the playoffs, and then they'll get spanked with that rinky-dink offense, and then they'll get sent home. Why do you do that to the Ravens fans? Don't do that to the Ravens. That's
what did we say this offseason? Hopium, right? Sometimes you get a little hopium.
Yeah, that's a lot of hopium. Wow. That's a lot of hopium.
Hey, they got just like a lot of these teams in the AFC, you can get hot. What the Bengals got hot last year and made a Super Bowl run. I did not see that coming. Nobody
and they won't make it back. And they won't make it back.
They may not, right? But all you need is a special run, right? The Ravens won a Super Bowl a decade ago with Joe Flacco, and they just made a special run. That's all. They don't ask you how you won the Super Bowl. Did you get lucky?
Oh, no, not at all.
You won.
Yeah. I'm with you. I just don't see Lamar being the passer that can get you through there, and their running game isn't that dominant that you can't stop it. So It's that's the only reason why you and I will not come to an agreement on that.
Yeah, we'll disagree. I'm a Lamar fan. You are not. We understand that.
I'm not. No, I'm a Lamar fan, not a believer in his way of playing the position. That's all. You can't. It's impossible not to like the kid.
Right.
Impossible, because he's a great young man. I just don't think in his way you win the Super Bowl unless you learn how to beat him like this consistently. You can't beat him like this consistently.
You may be right, but I think we are closer and closer to seeing a Lamar Jackson, a Jalen Hurts, that style of quarterback win a Super Bowl than I think more people think. A guy that, even though Jalen's been a lot better with his passing, I still think that people will consider him a run first quarterback. And to me, no matter how you consider him, I think Lamar and Jalen Hurts are good enough to win a Super Bowl in the right situation. And
you know what the problem is with them now. You know what the problem is with them.
7-0. They could test that theory this year. We'll see.
Now the problem with I'll give you the problem with the Ravens. They are like the Utah Jazz and the Indiana Pacers and certain teams in the NBA that free agents are never going to come to them. Well, in the Ravens case, free agent wide receivers, big name wide receivers will never go there. Why? Because it's a running offense. So they're all divas. They all want the ball a lot. They're not ever going to go there. The Ravens need to either draft a stud wide receiver or two, or trade and trap a stud wide receiver or two in their system. Yeah, you got to trap them, because if not, you're like Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown wasn't even a great receiver, and he's like, well, I don't feel useful here. I don't feel like he didn't feel. Why? Because they're running all the time. That's the problem, Cam. If you don't have a quarterback that is willing to pass the ball and be accurate a lot and throw it 40, 50 times in today's NFL, you're not going to keep those big wide receivers happy.
So here's where I'll challenge you.
Would lose their minds in that offense.
So here's where I'll challenge you. Mark Andrews has been arguably the best tight end in football this year with Lamar as his quarterback. We've never seen Lamar. I did not draft him in my fantasy team.
No, they drafted him.
They drafted him. Correct. But
he's locked in there.
I also will say the Ravens have not been good at drafting and developing receivers. Even the ones they have done recently have been, Rashad Bateman. He's been hurt and not living up so far.
Was the last one.
Exactly. And so I would challenge you, because the same narrative was there about Jalen Hurts until they went and got AJ Brown. And then all of a sudden you see him and AJ Brown. They traded for him, right? But did I
not just tell you that? Did I not?
AJ Brown
trade for him or draft him.
Right, but AJ Brown's not unhappy at all with a quote unquote run first quarterback. He's putting up monster numbers. better numbers than he's having in Tennessee with a quote unquote run first quarterback. So to me, it's not, you're right. I do think they got to find a way to draft or trade for him because maybe the stigma's there. But I don't think the narrative that Lamar can't create a star receiver or sustain a star receiver is accurate. I think that we haven't seen a receiver there that's good enough to be able to do it. The only one we've seen is Mark Andrews, and he has been really top tier when he's getting the ball. So that's sort of my view.
And tight ends are, those are higher percentage passes. Those are easier passes for the quarterback to the running backs and the tight ends. The outside the hash stuff is a lot harder for quarterbacks. So that's why. But that's the stigma that lies on him. And in Philadelphia right now, he's happy for now. We'll see how it continues because he just got traded there and it just got started. We'll see how it finishes. It's like like you got it too. It's like a lot of Dolphin fans in the first quarter. My God, they were jumping ship. This is disgusting. I can't believe this. I had one guy said to me, I can't stand it. I can't watch these Dolphins have to come back every week. I go to him, you would have hated the Marino era. That's all Marino did in that era. He had to come back all the time because his defenses kept giving up 40 points. So he had to put up 42 in order to win the damn game. So welcome to the Marino era. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those where, we got to see how it ends. And we'll see if the AJ stuff ends the right way with Philadelphia. Because right now
I'm pretty confident that AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, by the way, who I still love as a player. I think that they're both very happy with Jalen Hurts as their quarterback.
Well, they've done an excellent job of finding him weapons. So if he doesn't succeed, and think about it, he has those two weapons, and they're still a running offense.
Right, and that's fine. That's fine. The problem, the thing is diversity, and they also have the best offensive line in football. But the diversity there. But I'm telling you, as we've seen over the last 3 to 5 years, getting your quarterback multiple receivers who can threaten defenses is the key to creating a great offense. It's changed.
Amen.
Before it was get you a left tackle and that sort of, and the offensive line is still important, but I don't think it's as important to get a star offensive line versus just not having any huge weaknesses in every area. I think that it's important now to get star or very good players. You've seen it with Tua this year. You've seen it with Jalen Hurts. You've seen it with Josh Allen. They went and got him Stephon Diggs and now Gabe Davis. And so a lot of the top quarterbacks in this league, and Patrick Mahomes is the only guy who seemed to shine without that guy, but he still has Travis Kelce. And so you're seeing the importance for receivers or for quarterbacks getting those star receivers, and the good ones find ways once they have those guys to shine. And like I said, we're seeing that with some of these young quarterbacks.
Yeah, no, but again, Tua being a passer, look how his two receivers are super happy. Yeah, and can Jalen Hurts do the same thing with his two receivers and make them?
I think they'll be fine. I mean, Tua, heck, I tweeted about it yesterday. The Jalen Hurts, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill are on pace to break the most yards from any wide receiver duo in NFL history. Tyreek Hill is on pace for 2,000 yards, the first receiver ever. And so, the whole dynamic of can Tua support Tyreek. Not only has he supported Tyreek and Jalen better than either of them has ever had in their career. And I do think that I'm a believer in Jalen Hurts too. I think that Jalen Hurts is going to do the same for AJ and Devontae.
Right, but again, I'm just looking at it now. Tyreek is number 1 in the league. Jalen Waddle is number 4.
Yep.
By the way, everybody said that, those people that said Tua can't run a high-powered offense. Well, he's got the most.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Yeah.
And now AJ Brown is number 6. He's behind both of those guys,
which is impressive for a team because be clear here, the Eagles are a top 3 run team. The Dolphins are a bottom 7 run team, so they are a passing offense. That's right. so the Eagles
and Devonta Smith is 31.
Right.
Do you think long term he's going to want to stay there when he's going to stay at 31? Or does Jalen Hurts need to pick it up badly? I'm just saying.
I think he's fine. I think he's fine. Even 31st, he's on pace for over 1,000 yards. Like, since when is not 1,000 yards for a guy like Devontae Smith not a good season?
Come on. You've been around receivers.
And the Eagles also have been blowing teams out like they did against the Steelers. Their whole starters did not play the whole third quarter. They're like Alabama in college. They play 3 quarters and then they're done. So that affects your stats as well.
I get that, but 31 for him, he's not going to be happy with that. And he has 2 touchdowns. He has 2 touchdowns. The good thing is he has 420 in yardage, so he can spark it up anytime. So that's the good thing for him overall. All right. So what's your percentages today on a deal? Where are you going?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's a chance
0 to 100.
I'd say there's probably a 45% chance they trade and get a player there. Probably just under 50% would be how I put it.
Okay. Well, one more thing about last night that I thought of, again, spinning it to the Dolphins. This isn't Tua now, so relax. This is Brian Flores, which is the other thing we love to pick on. All right, so even Jabroni Brisket plays better away from Flores.
Jacoby did have
really think about the king size moron look for Brian Flores now. I know you guys were hugging it out on the field and all that stuff, but his ass looks so stupid now as Tua is one of the 3 best quarterbacks in the NFL, and Jabroni Brisket is actually playing unlike a Jabroni. He's playing more like a Jacoby now. And even under the Browns, he looks better than he did with the Miami Dolphins and that clown-ass offensive coordinator group that they had in there. This has been offensively, everything that's gone on with the Dolphins, and now you throw in Jabroni. This is not a good look for Brian Flores moving on down the line when everything else is flourishing offensively, and under him, it was a problem.
So very good game for Jacoby Brissett last night. I don't know it's been that way throughout the season. That being said, I do think, I don't know if we necessarily have to revisit Flores. I did see him at the game, and I said hello to them as everybody saw on national TV. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But my whole point is that Brian Flores
did he give you a cell phone after that? Did you get the cell phone?
I think I'm okay there. I would say that Flores, one of his biggest issue to me while he was coach here was his inability to get an offense right. And so if he ever gets another head coach job, which I don't know if he will, but if he ever gets a head coach job again, that has to be the area you get right, because you can say all you want about the interactions with people in the building. That's definitely areas where I think people relationships that he'll have to be better at.
His people skills suck. Yeah.
But the offense on the football side of it, he was a really good schemer, a really good defensive coach, and a guy who, had a team discipline. We talked about penalties here. That was thing that he was good at. He wasn't good at everything, but he was good at that. But he really, really struggled to find an offensive guy to lead that group. Went through 4 guys in 3 years, essentially, with the co-offensive coordinator set up, and it just did not work. And so, we're seeing other people, particularly Tua, shine without him. And so I got to run because my babysitter just got here.
I know. But I love the word schemer for him. That I like that. I like that word. Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolfe. Catch his exceptional work at, of course, the NFL Network. And, of course, you can catch him twice a week here as we bust his balls on the program on the KSDT CPA Miami Dolphins and NFL Report. Cam, much love. We'll catch you later, my man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
There you go. The Wolf Pack has been unleashed.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolfe. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All righty. I love this. Richard McLean. Noah being a bust put a monkey wrench in their DB plans. Richard, you know what I love about fair-weathered fans like you? Brother, you're complaining in the last 7 first-rounders, they've hit on 5 of the 7 first-rounders. It's Austin and Noah. So since the guy took over, since Chris Greer has been completely in charge, the whole thing is going in a completely different direction. You got a franchise quarterback. You're worried about Noah? They couldn't find a franchise quarterback since Marino. Richard, bro, to be still complaining about Noah is so pathetic. We just had a conversation that they've got Christian Wilkins, Brandon Jones, Tua, Waddle, and Holland all coming up for contracts. The Dolphins are hitting on their draft picks. Now they're actually forced to try to re-sign all of them. Yeah, Noah and Austin Jackson haven't worked out. I get it. But Hunt did, and Van Ginkel did, and Tua did, and Wilkins did, and Jalen Phillips did, Brandon Jones did. I mean, it just goes on and on. And you found Nick Needham off the scrap heap, so you don't get Noah, but you got Nick Needham. The Trill Williams kid was actually showing you something. I don't know. They found Kader Kohu also off the scrap heap. To still be complaining about Noah is some sad-ass shit on a Dolphins fan. This isn't 10 and 15 years ago. You got a playoff team. The only reason they're not 7-1 or 8-0 is because of injuries. To still be complaining about Noah is fucking pathetic. Is that clear enough for you? Or for any of you out there? Do you realize what's going on now? Do you realize that this is a good franchise now? They're not going to be perfect because nobody hits on all their picks. So, Richard, if you want, bro, go find another GM that hits 7 of 7 in his last first rounders. Then go root for that team, dude. Seriously, bro. Like, it's ridiculous to be complaining about Noah or Austin Jackson anymore. Look at the big picture of what's going on. Stop being a pathetic fan. Seriously. Like, you know what? Richard was probably the bitch that was crying in the first quarter after they took a 14-0 lead. Like, I had a bunch of you little bitches in the first quarter whining. God bless, man. There's so many of you that are so freaking weak. It really is just, again, I don't know how any of you even maintain any relationships. Seriously, I don't. Damn, bro. Yeah, Big O, not afraid to bend you over the sink and teach you a lesson. I mean, it's just stupid, man. It just gets to a point where it's just ridiculous. Turn the page already, dude. This is a damn good franchise. You're complaining about Noah still. It's like we're just stupid. Should Miami switch defensive schemes to a more zone and a 4-3 and get rid of the Yeah, right. In the middle of the season, they're going to switch everything and you need different talent and all that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what they should do, bro. Exactly. I hold my breath every time Iggy is on the field. You're correct. Overall, we're on the right track. Exactly. Who cares about it already? Get over it, dude. You know what? Iggy and Austin are supposed to be failures. You're supposed to go 7 of 7 on your last first-round picks? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that was the demand now. Not only is Chris Greer a good GM, but now he has to be a perfect GM. I mean, picks are going to fail, man. You know, that's how it is. But then you find a Skylar Thompson in the 7th round. I agree. It's sad that Noah didn't pan out, but to find 3 solid CBs as rookie free agents is a testament to the front office. They are, and Brandon Jones, bro. What's he, a 3rd rounder? I felt terrible that kid got injured. You found Brandon Jones in the 3rd round. You got your starting safeties in the 2nd and 3rd rounds. I mean, I don't know what more you want from that front office now. That's a badass front. They just found Brandon Snell, who might be better than the 1st-round pick. And they found him off the street. You know, the 2 first-round picks, and some of you have got you're like hanging on to dear life. Austin Jackson, Noah. Iggy, Noah. Iggy, Iggy, Iggy. And then you don't look anywhere else. How about this Vernon McKinley the third kid? What about if they found something else there? Are you putting it past them? No. Yeah. Big O, I'm not sure if you listen to a lot of rap music, but one of the Migos passed away. My brother, you should probably go to the beginning of the show. And we talked about this yesterday. So that's the worst part about it is that I was making a point about this yesterday. And boom, this happens overnight. Only one genre of music is tied to gun violence on a consistent basis, and it happens practically every week, every day, every month. Only one. And I don't know what it is, but I wish they would stop it. And I'm not a Migos guy or anything like that, but I don't want to see a 28-year-old young man who's got an entire life ahead of him. He's got, obviously already been successful, got opportunities to continue to have that success and bring enjoyment to people that like his music. And in a dice game, you got some idiots that get mad in a dice game and they got to shoot somebody. Come on, man. I mean, what is this? This is crazy. It doesn't make any sense at all. Most of the violence in rap makes zero sense. It's plain stupidity is what happens. It's all ignorance that goes on in rap now with all that violence. There's no need for it. I was just talking about that yesterday. Why should Nipsey Hussle not be here? He should be here. He was doing a lot of good for a lot of people in his community. It wasn't that he was only successful as an entertainer, but he was successful as a human being because he came from nothing, made himself something, and then was getting others out of nothing to make something of themselves. How do we take the life of that human being? That doesn't make any sense. We need as many people like Nipsey Hussle. And again, I actually do like a couple of his songs, but I wasn't like this huge Nipsey Hussle guy. But what I am is I feel bad for human beings that are actually doing a lot of, I don't want to see anybody die. But then when you see somebody that climbs out of a tough situation and then has the character to try to bring other people out of those situations, I mean, that's a beautiful human being, dude. And, he's not here anymore. Stupid. For what? Mark Jean Baptiste, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. He says, Big O, why do you think NFL teams don't like Duke Johnson? I don't know, man. He's always been known as a pass catcher. I know he had a couple of moments here, but that's probably what people think it is. It's just a moment. It's not what he really is. That's kind of the label he's had. And thank you again for the super chat. Devin Jordan, thank you for the love on the super chat. Oh, the dude that shot Takeoff was mad because he lost $7K in the dice game. Why are you playing $7K? You know what I mean? If you're playing $7K, you should have it's like you and me losing $7. Okay? It's not the end of the world. It's $7. We move on. Right? Then don't play. Just like don't invest. When I talk about crypto, make sure you're investing discretionary income, not your rent and your mortgage, the food for your family, the car payment. No. You got to make those payments first. Okay? So if you're gambling 7,000, I would hope that 7,000 means nothing to you. And God bless you if 7,000 means nothing to you. Because that would be a whole lot of Bitcoin for me. I would love that. And by the way, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo. Not 7,000 in Bitcoin, but you can donate Bitcoin too. Now, if you want to donate 7,000 Bitcoin, hey, we'll take it. We got no problem with that. Anthrax and Black Label Society has announced a tour. Are they coming here? Do we see it? No Florida dates. Damn it. Idaho, you get it. Washington. Our friends in Canada are getting it. Vancouver, Calgary, Winnipeg, Chicago, Portland. No Florida. San Antonio, St. Louis, Boston. Damn it. You guys get Anthrax and Black Label Society, and we don't. You lucky bastards. I tell you. I'll tell you. All right. What else do we have going on in the world of sports? By the way, where is Bitcoin as we wait for the Feds tomorrow if they're gonna go 3/4 or I'm wondering if they go 0.5% instead of 0.75%, the market is going to explode. Absolutely explode. Bitcoin has been holding strong over 20,000. It's at 20,600 right now. So it is holding super strong. Stronger than the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 right now. Bitcoin is not as volatile as the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. It's pretty amazing, man. I got to tell you, it's pretty amazing. $7K in drug money. Well, that's their problem, Max. However they got it, if it's legal or drugs or that's not my problem. You know what I'm saying? The problem I have is the gun violence. That's the problem I have. That too many people think that, solving their problems is by pulling out a gun and killing somebody. Josh Greenwell, Big O, any trade moves you would like to see? Hunt. I would like to see Hunt. Yeah. Yeah. I would like to see Hunt. Not Mike. Okay. That's a whole different ball game. That's the Porky scene. Do we have the Porky scene here? Let me see if I can pull up the Porky's scene here for you guys. Do we have it? Oh, I don't know if I have it here now. Let me see. Oh, I think I may be able to get it over here. Let me see. No. Oh man. Oh well. I know I have the Porky's sound bites somewhere, but unfortunately I'm not able to find it at the moment. Has anybody seen Mike? Yeah. Although I always wonder about playing those things because now they're so old that a lot of young people have no idea about that one. But I would like to see Kareem Hunt. Not Mike, but Kareem Hunt get traded to the Dolphins. That one I wouldn't mind because Chase is not the answer, and they obviously don't feel good enough with the other two guys. So I would like to see Kareem here and make that Mostert Kareem Hunt 1-2 punch. If the Browns are willing to trade Hunt, which I think they are, then yeah, maybe that would be the move that I would like to see. Chris C., thank you for the love on the super chat. Big O, Washington plans to release Jackson if no trade partner is found. Well, then we will find out. We will find out, my friend. And David Triano is also saying Commanders cutting William Jackson. If they don't find a trade partner by the deadline, he'll be subject to the waiver wire. Yeah. Yeah, but you know how far down the Dolphins are on the waiver wire? Right? It goes by record right now, right? Not last year or anything. And the Dolphins right now, I don't know if you guys know, they're 25th. I actually looked it up because San Francisco's pick with the win dropped from 11 to 20. So we have the 20th pick in the NFL draft. And, Sean Stanley is requiring that they have a a pick inside the top 15. He wants to get a pick early in the draft, because since they don't have another first and they don't have a third, he needs something early on to work with. So he's kind of demanding, that the San Francisco 49ers lose a lot. So let's hope that they listen to Sean Stanley and start losing a lot. Oh, did you see Tyreek's story that he posted on Instagram? It was a throwback picture of Hill and Hunt in KC saying he misses Kareem. No, I did not see it, but I mean, whatever. That's like saying, yeah, you want a running back. You need a running back. We all know that they need one. Is the Conklin trade rumors real as with Hunt, Big O? I don't believe in the Conklin trade. And I don't think, unless you're just giving up like a 7th rounder, right? Unless you're giving up a pick that really, and although these guys are good, that they end up with Skylar Thompson in the 7th round. So I don't know. Do I really want him to give it up for Conklin's lost? He's not the same guy anymore. All the injuries have taken a toll. He's not that good, dude. I'm not really convinced that Conklin would be this trade that's going to be a difference maker. I like what I've seen from Brandon Snell, and let's see what Robert Jones now can do. I'm told this, by the way. This is what I'm hearing. Major devastation and disappointment inside the building for Liam Eichenberg. And I was told, go back and look at the tapes and go look at the last 2 games, that overall his play had improved. You got to take out a couple of the penalties, but he was actually making the kind of improvement that they were excited about in the building. And they're really hurting in the building right now for Liam, because they thought the watershed moment was happening for him at that spot, that he was turning the corner and people were going to see the best of Liam Eichenberg as the season went on. So I can tell you that from the coaching staff side, they felt that he had really started to turn the corner in the last 2 games. Now we're going to find out what Robert Jones has, and if Robert Jones can get it done. And we'll see. And Robert Jones is another guy they found off the scrap heap, a free agent. And if he comes in and does the job, again, don't be nitpicking and worrying about a pick or 2 that did not hit. A lot of picks are hitting now, and they're finding other people in free agency to fill in and do the job. Okay? Greedy Williams will not be traded to the Miami Dolphins. If the Cleveland Browns want to trade Greedy Williams or Kareem Hunt, 2 guys that I think are very tradable from that team, do not expect the cornerback to end up with the Miami Dolphins. That's all I can tell you. He does not fit what they do here. So you can bank on it that Greedy Williams will not be a Miami Dolphin. I can tell you that. All right. That's some of the stuff that just it came to me in the middle of the night. Just like I was sleeping and it got slotted in there. And I just thought about it. So I figured I'd tell you guys, because I just guess and tell you things. So this is what I do. That's what I do. And then I just hope I hit the bullseye. That's all I'm saying. That's all we do here. Let's see. Didn't McDaniel say he was relieved Liam wasn't as bad? I don't know what McDaniel exactly said. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing, what came to me in the middle of my sleep, that there's a lot of disappointment in that Dolphin building today, or the last couple of days, because of Liam Eichenberg. That's all. It just came to me in the middle of the night that the offensive coaching staff is super devastated with his injury. They felt that he really turned the corner. It was just like a spirit in the middle of the night that kind of said, hey, this happened, and Greedy Williams has no shot at being here, and they're not trading Byron Jones, and he's not part of any trades, and there's just things that happen in the middle of the night when I'm sleeping, and that's all. I'll be glad to see Darth Cater Kohu develop into a beast opposite of Howard if we can't get a CB. I like that kid. You got to give him time. He's a youngin', man. Hell of a pick by Boyer, Cater Kohu. And one of the things I love about this front office is that they allow people to actually contribute, because they have a general manager. We've had general managers here in the past that did not want anybody's opinion or suggestions and only took their themselves. Saving. And so Fireland. And so, things happen here at times, and it's nice to have a guy like Chris Greer who doesn't have the ego and says, oh yeah, I know Reggie McKenzie can be a general manager in this league. In fact, he had no business getting fired by the Raiders. Hey, Raider fans, is life better without Reggie McKenzie? Huh, Raider fans? Is it really? Huh? Did you feel good when Mark Davis came out and said, what was the quote? Josh McDaniel is our head coach and will be for years to come. Isn't life so much better without Reggie McKenzie? I'm sorry, as I digress there. Anyway, so it's really nice to have a Chris Greer who knows that Marvin Allen can be a general manager anywhere in the NFL, and so can Reggie McKenzie, but they happen to be black. So you know what happens, So he doesn't have the ego, and he says, hell, dude, I'm going to bring these two monsters here to help me. And, oh, wait, Josh Boyer likes this guy? Well, he's my defensive coordinator. He likes this guy. He coaches that position. Let's go make an investment. That's how you become a great organization. That's how you become a great corporation. You might be the boss. You might be the CEO. You might be the GM, but the assistant might have a great idea. One of your marketing employees may have a phenomenal idea. One of your promotional staff may come up with something that saves you a lot of money. So what are you going to do? Are you going to just close out all those people in your organization? What the hell did you hire them for? Because we've had those people. Right, Flores. We've had those people that just want to do everything and they don't care what anybody else says. Okay. So these are things that you got to have in a great corporation, in a great organization, in a great company. There has to be contributions from everyone. When one person thinks that they know everything and you can't tell them what to do, you can't do that kind of stuff. This is why they're excelling. This is why they're a great organization. When Don Shula had, George Wilson and Beathard and some of the guys, some of you aren't old enough, but Shula was at his best when he had other people that were helping him. As those people left and George Young goes to the Giants and Beathard goes to San Diego, and then he starts losing, and then he has to start making all the decisions, and then the cap hits him. A new monster that he was never had to deal with before. All that, it became a problem for him. And we've had a lot of those kind of people after Shula that are the end-all be-alls, and the pyramid ends there, and everybody else must answer to them. Whereas Chris Greer is in charge, but he's going to give everybody a voice. That's what makes him a great leader, man. That's part of why they're a good organization now. Because it's not just Chris Greer making all the decisions. He's smart enough to say, all right, you've made a case. It makes sense. Let's go get him. Oh, no. It's what I want, not what you want. No, that's not going on in the Dolphin organization. So there you go. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Big O, I always say to my employees that the best trait is to always be open to new ways to something, even if you think you know everything, and that I'm always open to suggestions. That's right. You got to be, man. You got to be. Big O, I noticed our GM Chris Greer is out on the field, dapper up the players. Yeah, Chris Greer is one of those dudes, at least this is what he looks like to me. He looks like a dude that is not hard to get along with. That's what he looks like. He looks like an easygoing guy. He just looks like, Captain Curtis. When anybody knows Captain Curtis, you got a problem with Captain Curtis, then you're the dick. Because he's a great dude. He's impossible to not get along with. He's just a good person. There are just people in the world that you meet, and JT Wilcox, a guy that is just a terrific human being. They're just people you run into, at least in my business, that you just say, this person is just a good dude overall. Alex Dono's a good dude. Hard to not get along with Alex Dono. Some people, and Chris Greer just looks like one of those kind of guys. Tua looks like that. Now, he doesn't let you in his circle, right? But he looks like it's hard not to get along with that guy. And I think Chris Greer is that dude that will give you the olive branch, and then it's up to you how you handle it. Maybe Byron Jones is holding out because of what happened with X last year. X holding out for more money. Well, it's not more money because he's not getting more money. He's getting cut. Okay. And he's going for free agency next year. He's got his salary set for next year. Problem is the Dolphins aren't probably going to exercise the rest of that contract, and he and his agent know it. Remember, this is me just reading through the trees, okay, on what I think is happening in that Byron Jones situation. Oh, hey, I'm feeling the hammy. I'm not ready this week. It's tightening up a little. Yeah, but we don't see anything on the X-rays. Yeah, no, but it's What can I tell you? Big O, what are the top 3 all-time best Miami Dolphin trades in your opinion? Well, Shula's number 1. You'll never beat that trade. You trade for Shula, you go to 5 Super Bowls, you win 2, you have an undefeated season. It's kind of like the Riley trade. Yes, sir. What do you got?
For Adam Schefter, Dolphins placed offensive lineman Liam Eichenberg on injured reserve and activated offensive lineman Austin Jackson off of injured reserve.
Wow, that's good news. Austin Jackson better get his ass in gear because Snell took his job. Remember, Austin Jackson can play guard. Okay? Keep an eye on that. If Robert Jones does struggle, it will not be Michael Dieter. It'll probably be Austin Jackson. So Austin Jackson will be working on being a swing tackle. Will also play a little guard if needed. But if Robert Jones is fine, then I would imagine that Austin Jackson might become your swing tackle because I don't know how you bench Snell right now the way he's playing. Did you see him put a shock into Hutchinson on one of those plays? So after the Shula, Warfield, and I guess Ricky trade. No, because the Ricky trade was fun, but it didn't turn into shit. I'm not going to go with the Ricky trade because the Ricky trade was like most of the shit that happened in the last 20 years. Hollow. Nothing. It means jack. Whatever. Miracle in Miami, all that bullshit. None of that means anything to me. Listen, man, us older fans that we've been around real winning, nothing that happened in the last 20 years. It's nothing. It's novelty bullshit. Yes, sir.
Also, as they're pointing out in the chat, Reed Sinnott was released from the practice squad.
Oh, so we're not in it to win it anymore? Is that what you're saying to me? We're not in it to win it because we don't have Reed Sinnott. I tell you. That tells me that the other kid is fully healthy, right? Is that what it means? Like his finger is definitely 100% or whatever. And they said, okay, we don't need him anymore. We're good. Captain Curtis has become a great car salesman due to his skills, yet more proof radio in Miami is a joke. How is that man not on the airwaves? Well, I mean, they have no money anymore. So that's why he and many others. There is nobody on the airwaves, pretty much. There's 3 shows left in QAM, and Joe will be gone soon, and a lot of money will walk out the door with him. And they'll be left over with maybe a show or two, and that's it. There won't be a lot left over, and they'll be trimming all of that stuff down. It's not Captain's fault. It's not Josh Friedman's fault. It's not anybody that's lost their jobs. It's not Zaslow's fault. It's not anybody's fault, dude. It's a terrible, terrible business run by terrible people who have no clue on what they're doing. Like the boss that's there right now, that's been there for the last few years, that has been part of the destruction of all of this. That dude has zero talent and zero skills. He's never been on the radio and had any kind of success on the radio. How are you going to tell me or Captain Curtis or Dan Lebitard or Joe Rose or anybody how to do their jobs when you've never done my job, when you've never had any success at my job? And that's the problem that goes on in radio all over the place. Dude, one time they put a salesperson to be the program director. I know a lot of salespeople over the years. And I'll tell you, like I'll tell all the salespeople to their faces, 98% of them, they don't know shit about how to program a radio station or who should be on or who shouldn't be on. 98% of them. They're just fans. They don't really understand the whole thing either. And you would put a sales guy in charge or a saleswoman in charge? Are you out of your minds? But that's the shit that goes on in this business. So, what are you going to do? And I feel terrible for a lot of us that lost jobs. Some of us are blessed that we can continue on our own. Like Sean and myself here are incredibly blessed that we can stand on our own and we don't need a corporation, but not everybody's like that. And so a lot of people lost jobs that they are passionate about and love it. It's a shame, man. It's a terrible, terrible business. I would never tell your kids to get into this business. Newspaper's dead and radio is on life support. It's almost over. There is no future in talk radio. It's all platforms. See Amazon, by the way? Did you see that, Sean? Amazon now is into sports talk. They added several shows now, and they're going to have, I think, 6 hours a day of sports talk on their platform. Carrie Champion is one of them doing a show there on Amazon. So, yeah. How about that? Platforms. Nobody's going to stand around. You know how many commercials I've played in an hour and 37 minutes that I've been talking? In radio, regular radio, they couldn't even talk 17 straight minutes. 17 straight minutes. We just have done an hour and 37 minutes of straight talk. No breaks, no commercials, no nothing. Our commercials are here. Look, Cutter's Edge. Call Will and Mike. That's our commercials right there. They're perpetual. They stay there, and the content continues. And if you need a landscaping service, you need to rechange and remodel your home and make it look a hell of a lot better and make the value soar, you call cuttersedgepro.com. But that's how this is the way modern things are done nowadays. This is how you're supposed to do it. Listeners don't have time to sit there through a half hour of commercials in an hour. It's the dumbest thing in the world. It's a waste of time. What's funny is, have you listened to QAM on the stream? Oh my God, it's like the five same PSAs repeated over and over and over and over again. Oh my God, they have no money. They're not selling anything in that company. What is it? Is it still 36 cents their stock? That thing was $10, $12, $14. It's at 36 cents. It's, if whoever's left there, you better be planning for life after, because it's coming. Like, if you don't see it, I can't help you. But yeah, that's the good thing for Frito and for Captain Curtis and everybody else, that at least you don't have to deal with these idiots anymore. Move on and go get a job somewhere else, because it's really hard to deal with people like that. Frankie says, if Tua brings a championship and has, let's say, another good 5 years with Miami, will they build a statue of Tua next to Marino at Hard Rock? Brother, if he wins a championship, of course he's going to get it, for sure. Oh, you think eventually you'll bring a hot female co-host to help out your voice? Troy, if I would bring on anyone, male or female, it's because they have the skills, not because they have the tits. Okay? We can do stuff like that in segments and have some fun with it, but a literal co-host would have to be somebody that actually knows their shit. You know what I'm saying? This is on this platform and on the way we do things nowadays. If you come here, you have to be able to carry your own weight. This isn't a place where we're here to give away money and, you don't produce anything. You don't break any stories. You don't bring an audience. You don't bring any sponsors. You have no juice. You have no power in social media, all that kind of stuff. If that stuff doesn't exist, to be quite honest, really, we have no use for you. It's just the way it is, man. That's how it goes nowadays in today's world. So it's about skills. It's about what you bring to the table, not about how hot you are. We could do that for a little segment to have fun and all that. Sure. But, that most of you will tire out quickly with somebody that doesn't know, no matter how hot they are. Eventually, you'll just you'll tune it out. You know what you'll do? This is what you're going to do. You're going to do what a lot of my Anglo friends do with Univision and Telemundo. They're channel surfing. They run into a soap opera. And what do? It's mute. And they just look. And that's it. And why? Because the women on those soap operas are smoke shows. They don't understand a damn thing they're saying, but they don't care. So that's what would happen, my brother. So you can't really just can't have a co-host that's a hottie and she doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. That would not enhance the show. That would bring it completely down eventually. Once you get past the breasts, you can see breasts for only so much. And then after that, there has to be some substance coming out of the breasts. Just being honest. Let's see. What else do we have? Trade ideas. Bradley Chubb for a second and third. Kareem Hunt fifth. Yeah, obviously this guy didn't listen to the show earlier. Jordan Schultz, no, not on. No. We love Jordan, but no, not on a weekly basis. It was hard, his schedule and everything. It was kind of tough. Big O, do you remember the chick that had the sexy voice and worked with Hank Goldberg? Didn't last long. I don't remember. And again, Hank doesn't need, when Hank was doing his thing, he doesn't need a co-host. Big O has a bunch of segments to get other viewpoints. Exactly. Right. That is very true, Lofi. I don't need a co-host. Which really, by the way, I don't need a co-host. I don't need a co-host. I have plenty of insiders that join us all throughout the week. They are kind of my co-hosts. Sean, he does a little co-hosting too. Mike McCoy on hurricane stuff. We're good, man. We're good. What do I think of Joy Taylor? I think she does a terrific job. That's what I think. And I can actually watch her now that she doesn't work with that other clown. Because that's the only reason I really wouldn't watch that show much. Because she was working with that dude that, really brings nothing to the table. He's kind of like just trolling constantly. Would you trade for big? Oh! They should trade for me. I think the Dolphins should trade for me and pay me $5 million for, per year for 2 years. That way I can pay whatever taxes and I'll have enough money left over for the wife and the daughter. Because that's just my job, right? My job is just to try to make some stuff for my wife and my daughter. Who cares? I just need to be able to go to a couple concerts. I don't really need a lot of money. You can keep me happy. I just got to go to a couple shows. Or give me a little Edge energy drink. By the way, myedgedrink.com. Use our code Big O. Get 10% off. myedgedrink.com. Big O, how was your Halloween? Also, give us your A-plus players for this season. Tua, Holland, Hill, Waddle, Mostert, Melvin Gordon. I have Sanders in all my leagues. He has let me down. Well, I'll talk simply about my Halloween last night. It was fun, bro. I had a great Halloween last night. Sat there with the wife, watched some television, and did not give one piece of candy away. All the candy is sitting there. Again, this year. Nobody ever comes by. Nobody trick-or-treats in our neighborhood. Now, quite frankly, and we live in a good neighborhood, but I wouldn't want to trick-or-treat down the side road of my house. Why? Because you got these idiots that speed up and down the street. So I wouldn't want to put my kids at risk. I'd rather be in the cul-de-sac, or there's like this there's this whole, thing behind us. It's a whole residential thing, but it has walls and gates and all that kind of stuff. So in there, I would imagine maybe the kids are trick-or-treating. But to get to my house, you've got to go through that busy street. And it's not like a busy street, like a intersection. There's like a shit ton of cars, but it's a stretch of road that it just caters to the idiots wanting to go a little fast. And as you know, we had a couple of idiots go through our wall and destroy our wall that we were able to fix after Welt Rheaume brought Progressive Insurance to their knees. And thank you again, Welt Rheaume, for kicking Progressive Insurance right in the dead center of the ass for us, by the way. And if you, by the way, you got a problem with an insurance company, Welt Rheaume, please. All right, make sure you reach out to Welt Rheaume in Hollywood. Those people are freaking awesome. Not because they're our sponsors or anything, because I saw them, personally kick Progressive's ass. But anyway, it was nice. It was calm. Nobody came by. No eggs, of course. I shouldn't get egged. I didn't deny anybody a candy. But yeah, I think this is like about year 10 that we haven't seen a child come by. Yeah, maybe 8 or 10. Maybe 8, 9, 10 years ago there were still, but it's been a while now. And my wife always says it every year. We buy candy for no reason. But I tell her, hey, listen, don't worry about it, all right? The mini Snickers, they'll get eaten eventually. It'll happen, sweetheart. Don't worry about it. Yeah, we were ready to dish out the mini Snickers. So I think that's a pretty cool one. But I always have to get something that I know I can eat or my wife can eat. That's why we always get those. We get good candies, always, because just in case they show up, they'll have good candy. And if they don't show up, we'll have good candy. That's the key right there. If you happen to be, in an area where you're no longer getting trick-or-treaters, which, again, in today's world, I'd be very careful with kids and where to go trick-or-treating. Did you go trick-or-treating yourself yesterday, Sean? Did they come by your house? You did? You went trick-or-treating? Wow, you're a stud, bro. You're a stud. Well, you still got young kids.
Yeah, we took the kids over to a friend's house in that neighborhood. Not in our neighborhood, but in another neighborhood.
There you go.
Gated area.
There you go. Right, there you go. That's what we have right behind us, a gated area that I'm sure they're going. I used to take my daughter over to the Biltmore. And in that neighborhood, we used to park and then go trick-or-treating in that neighborhood. Because it was, a fun neighborhood. I spend my Halloween working and making money. Well, Irvin, there's nothing wrong with that. Same thing has been happening to us as well, says Samuel. Yeah, we have less and less trick-or-treaters nowadays. Big O, more sad news in hip-hop. Yeah, I talked about it at the beginning of the show, Cigar Social, and I was talking about it yesterday on the show. But that's, that guy was thinking that I was taking a shot at Club Live when it was Live Golf. And, oh, you got a problem with hip-hop? No. Oh, but wait a minute, I do have a problem with hip-hop. Gun violence. And there we go. We get takeoff the next morning. Terrible. Favorite candy for O and Sean? Kit Kat. I love Kit Kat. It's one of my favorites. So is Twix. But Snickers is number one. Can I tell you one that nobody likes? There are 647 people right now on the chat board. Okay? Tell me if you like this candy. I know I'm going to get a whole bunch of no's and very little to no yeses. Are you ready? I love Mounds. Who enjoys eating Mounds? Come on, tell me. No, says Steve. He started it out. There you go. Frankie's throwing up. Yuri's throwing up. Oh, Miles Deep says yes, coconut. There you go. No. Radio host hates it. What the hell is Mounds? Yeah, Mounds is the one with no nuts. Almond Joys is the one with nuts. Oh, wait a minute. There was another yes. Stetson O says yes. Troy Ortiz says so. Wow. I like Mounds, but prefer Almond Joy, says Mike. Oh. Mounds is the worst. See, that's what I'm expecting from people. Coconut vomit. And it's not like I'm this big coconut guy, but I don't know what it is about Mounds. I love Mounds. And I know most people hate it. Mounds is trash. We don't have candy in the UK, just chocolate or sweets. No. Baby Ruth is good. Yes. There's a yes. Yes, sir. Wow. There's more yeses than I expected. Big Dan 305, Richard Casillas, Emilio Hernandez. Wow. See, what is it? Magnaus Mounds is gross. That's what I'm expecting from people. My mother loves it, not me. There you go. Well, she's old like me, bro. That's what it is. Wow. Although I gotta say, there was more yeses than I expected. What is it? Music Matt 1001 likes it. How about that? Okay. Anything coconut is good, says John R., especially coconut cake. There you go, Josh. I don't like coconut, but I do like Mounds. That's the thing. I don't eat a lot of things in coconut, to be quite honest with you. The Mounds is one. The other thing that I can eat that's coconut, there are these Latin pastries that you find in gas stations or in bakeries that they're kind of like it's kind of like a half circle, and it has like little spikes and they're brownish yellow, and then it's coconut inside, and it's kind of toasty outside. I can eat that. I can eat that one. But I don't eat a ton of coconut stuff. But I don't know what it is about Mounds. I like it. It's crazy. I had a hookup with the Hershey's company. They asked me, what do you want? I said, a box of Mounds. And they were like, really? And sure enough, they sent me a box of Mounds. Loved it. Loved it. Let's see. What? Cajetas, and it's pink. I'm not a Three Musketeers guy. That one I don't like. I don't like a York peppermint patty. I don't get the sensation. Sorry. I just don't. I love coconut, but not Mounds. Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. That's always good. You can't go wrong with a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. That is just so good. Mounds dark chocolate. Yes. Yes, it is. Little crunch bar. It's funny. All right, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. We're gonna have Joe Shad join us at the in the third hour at 12:15. So we'll have a little fun with him. I do want to tell you a little bit about Sloman's Home Shield. We love talking about Sloman's Home Shield. 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME, folks. And there's nothing like peace of mind. And that's what I love about the Sloman's Home Shield. You get peace of mind, folks. And right now, first 40 Big O listeners, every time we mention it, we're giving away 40 right now doorbell cameras. So if you call 1-800-ALARM-ME, you mention Big O, you will get a free doorbell camera. With that comes peace of mind. Because that doorbell camera, once you use our professional installation and our low-cost central station monitoring, we're also going to get you an LED touchscreen pad, which is super easy to use, motion detector, and 3-arm doors, and a backup battery, folks. This is why you're going to love the Sloman's Home Shield. You're going to know when somebody's at your house. You're going to know when a delivery's at your house. You're going to know when somebody you don't want to talk to is at your house. I've done that where I'm watching television. Somebody rings the doorbell. Dogs are going crazy. I look at the camera on my cell phone. I don't want to talk to this person. They're selling something. I let them ring the doorbell. They eventually go away. The dogs are quiet. Everything's all kosher. It's a beautiful thing, man. 1-800-ALARM-ME. And you can control everything through your cell phone. So when you've got your hands full and you got to open the door with the key and then you got to hit the keypad. No. You grab that cell phone as you pull into your house. You turn off the alarm right from your cell phone. Then you grab all your bags and you open the door and you walk in and you don't have to deal with the alarm. It is so easy to use. And They are incredibly patient in teaching you how to use the keypad, even though it's really simple. You'll learn in a couple minutes. If a big dummy like me can do it, you can too. 1-800-ALARM-ME. Tell them that Big O sent you. You'll get a free doorbell camera. We're in 14 different states. So call 1-800-ALARM-ME. They could be in your state, protecting your family like they've been protecting Americans for over 100 years. Sloman's Home Shield. Hour number 3 is next.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Welt Rheaume has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welt Rheaume, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welt Rheaume can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welt Rheaume can help. Call 954-966-4646.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Sloman's, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
For over 16 years, EJD Construction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJD Construction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmith in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com. Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
number 3 of the program. Hope you all are doing well. Don't forget tonight, 7 to 8, it is the State of Florida Gridiron Roundtable with myself, Manny Navarro from The Athletic, Ira Schofel from warchant.com, and Kevin Brockway from the Gainesville Sun. So covering the Gators, the Seminoles, and the Canes. Should be a fun week this week because we got the Seminoles taking on the Canes. And remember, we're going to be at Walk-Ons on Saturday night. Our pregame coverage will start off at 5:30. Kickoff is at 7:30. We'll have the postgame show right after the game is over. And also, we'll have tons of giveaways. All kinds of giveaways, all kinds of prizes. And we could be adding a couple special prizes this week. So if there's somewhere you want to go to watch UMFSU, where we are giving away Perdomo prize packs with cigar cutter and lighter and a hat, Kane's Ware gift cards, beautiful thing. We got Walk-Ons gift baskets that have gift cards, glasses, like drinking glasses, coolies, all kinds of different things that they put in there. You know, Yanira and Joe always put all kinds of goodies in there, sometimes T-shirts, things like that. And I don't want to say yet, I may have an extra bonus or two coming up. I'll once I get it confirmed later on in the week, we will tell you what it is. But looking forward to it, and we thank all the great people out there as always for making it nice and easy for us to make this a great event every single week. And you're seeing there KSDT CPAs, and folks, it's not just about doing your taxes personally or professionally. They have management advisory services. They do it all. They have healthcare advisory services that they can provide, from fraud investigation to commercial diligence to operational diligence. They've got property management, 24/7 emergency services, rent collection, supervisory of property vendors. There's so many ways they can help you and your business grow. Wealth management, from high net worth to family office to business owning planning to wealth distribution strategies, wealth management. They do valuation. They do tax, from estate, family business, state and local tax consulting, payroll, sales, use tax reporting, payroll issue management, international taxation. They can help you in so many ways. And they have offices in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. So if you either live or work in the South Florida area and you need a CPA you can trust, call the great people at KSDT CPAs, 305-670-3370, and tell them that Big O sent you. I promise you, they will take care of you. 305-670-3370. GP Trap says he's checking in from Pembroke Pines. I love it. I love it. When are you going to come by to see us when we're at Acura? Come on. When we're out there not this week. Next week, we're in Acura. So, GP Trap, you better come by. Say hi. We're always going back and forth. So, come on out and say hi. Take a pic. Post it, since you're always on Instagram. And you're always sending me some stuff on DM. Always appreciate the videos you send me on DM. You're always a trip with that stuff. Irving Figueroa says, Big O, is Omar allowed to jump back on the... No. There's no going back already for Omar. Okay? It's just the way it goes. You made your bed. Now you got to lie in it. Tomorrow, I believe, 11:30 for Omar on the program. Okay? So if you're watching on Wednesdays, when it's Wednesdays he wants to do now. So 11:30. You know, he wanted to do twice a week, but I dialed it back. I'm the one that, no. And it's already been kind of a mission the first couple of weeks, bouncing around. I knew that to nail him down twice a week with the craziness that he's got going on. I tell him once a week is enough, bro. You're good. Be too crazy. My life is, I got so much shit going on as it is, and my mind doesn't stop. That tracking Omar down twice a week, that's like too much stress for me. Way too much stress. The Big O Show, the show that gets me through the day, never fails. Thank you, Yater. That's very nice of you. That's very kind of you. Been working like a dog today and haven't been able to see the show. What's up? Any news? No news yet, True Fin fan. Not yet. Well, they did activate Austin Jackson and Liam Eichenberg on the IR, if you want to know that. You know what developed last night, right? We talked about it earlier on the whole Joe Burrow and Tua thing. That if that was Tua last night playing in Joe Burrow's role, they would be assassinating Tua this morning. Everyone. You know what's the other development we had yesterday? And it's all Brian Flores related. We all see now that Brian Flores was a cancer to Tua. And that if you allowed Brian Flores to stay here, he could have ruined Tua's career. I mean, that's a fact. Okay? Think about this. We may never have seen a franchise quarterback ever. Because what are the chances you're getting another one right away? It's taken almost 25 years after Marino to find one, and they finally found one. And Brian Flores was in the midst of destroying it. Now you watch Jabroni Brissett, and you watched him last night, and you watch him throughout the season. He's actually done he's still not a good quarterback. I wouldn't want him if you paid me, to be quite honest with you. But, Jabroni was playing pretty well last night. And it shows you that with a really good quarterback like Tua, Brian Flores can destroy it. But even a mediocre quarterback like Jabroni, you could get a little bit more out of him than even Brian Flores did. It shows you how much of a cancer Brian Flores was to this team. And a lot of people fell for the wins, thinking, and they still do to this moment. And they still are all in this whole praise of the defense and this and that. And I think people go a little overboard with him. And I don't think that they realize that he was way more disruptive than he was productive. In every way, shape, and form, even defense at times. But offensively, oh my God. This shows that this guy was the ultimate cancer for an offense. Even for a mediocre quarterback like Jabroni. But the fact that he could have ruined the Dolphins franchise quarterback if they would have kept him around, disturbing. And to roll off of that, not only is he a moron by the way he treated Tua, but then look at what's happened with the Deshaun Watson mess. Right? I mean, Cleveland's got to wait another 11 weeks for the guy. Your season is probably done by then at that point. So the Dolphins would have to go through this whole mess with this clown. Just like Bruce Beal and Stephen Ross. I mean, I hope Stephen Ross doesn't even have the balls to go congratulate Tua. Because Tua's like, what are you doing congratulating me, brother? You didn't even want me here. You want to go get Tom Brady. Have you seen what he's doing? You seen what's going on with Tom Brady? Is that what you wanted for 1 year so you can step into the owner's box with you and Bruce? I mean, you think about it, bro. You got Stephen Ross back, and then you got also Flo in the mix in the same week. And those two look like bigger morons now than ever. And I would hope that Stephen Ross and Bruce Beal feel like absolute morons. I know Brian Flores is a moron, but I'm hoping that those two morons realize that they are idiots. I don't care how much money you've made in your real estate or whatever business that you're in. That's fine. When it comes to football, you idiots don't know anything. So I just, want to throw that out there that Brian Flores looks really bad in a span of 2 days, whereas Tua's proving that Brian Flores doesn't know jack shit about offense and quarterbacks. And even Jabroni Brissett can play better without Brian Flores around. And that Stephen Ross and Bruce Beal, they need to go to in a corner and just shut the hell up. I know Bruce Beal is going to disappear already because he's not allowed to ever be owner of the team, so that's good. So I'm sure he'll sell his share. But Stephen Ross also needs to sit in a corner and just shut up and watch the team. I just hope that Stephen Ross realizes that throughout his tenure, while he will open the checkbook, when he opens his mouth or actually does some kind of action, it's usually been a detriment to this team. And Steven, this happens because you don't know anything about football. And then you have the wrong people in your ear telling you about football. When all you had to do, you hired Chris Greer, shut the hell up and go in a corner and write checks when they tell you. Come on down to the field if they ever win anything and hold up the trophy. After that, go disappear into the shadows. That's what you should be doing. Not telling us that Joe Philbin is the next Don Shula. And that you're hoping that, was it Chad Henney's the next Dan Marino? Or that you're hoping that Adam Gase is a young Don Shula. No. I don't want you deciding who should be the head coach. I don't want you falling in love with Ndamukong Suh in the middle of a Red Wings game. And I certainly don't want you trying to think that you can bring Tom Brady here. In fact, what we want you to do is just go away. Sign the checks and go away. That's the job of an owner. Hire the football people and get out of the way. Even Jerry Jones, who thinks he's a football guy, all he is a detriment to his football people. And his dumbass doesn't figure it out. So Flores, Ross, Beal, Tua, and others continue to prove that you guys have no business making NFL decisions. Christian D, thank you for the love in the super chat. He says he thinks the Dolphins should be treating this trade deadline like the Rams have. Trade away future top picks for pieces to win now, or is our D too depleted? It's probably too depleted. But, it's, again, you can't, well, you need to listen to the beginning of the show, Christian, because you clearly did not hear. It may not be in the first 10 minutes, but it'd be right after, I think, when I get into trading and what's coming up for the Dolphins. You need to thoroughly listen to that segment. I answer your question. Flo was ordered to dump his team to get a high draft pick. Flo didn't even get his QB and was butthurt. Yep. Agree. Mr. Ross, sign the checks, pay the bills, work on a stadium refurbishment, and that's it. Yep. Ragin says, I want an owner that won't drive me crazy, someone to play and then go away. That's it. I need an owner that won't drive me crazy. I need an owner that won't drive me crazy. That's it. Get me John Cougar. Miami should have sued Camflo. We getting Bradley Chubb? You need to rewind. You need to rewind to the about, I'd say, the 8, 10, 12-minute mark of the show. And we answer all your questions there on trading. It's there for you. So Pat McAfee is having trouble with the NFL. Let me read it to you. What do you think, Sean? Should I talk about this? Right? It's not a big deal, right? What do you think? It's not a big deal if I talk about it, right? Our lives are kind of like an open book here on the show, right? What do you think? Yeah, right? Like I say, I think it's kind of a badge of honor. I was telling Sean in a way. Have you guys noticed that when you see the Dolphins stuff, there's a new logo that we put up? I don't know if you can bring something up with the new logo there, Sean. But and I'm sure he'll find something. There we go. We got to take the KSDT off for a second there. So we've got Alan Poupart, right? And see the logo now? You see right above me? That's our logo we created. That's our Dolphins logo now that we created. And so Pat McAfee says he's declaring war against the NFL. McAfee revealed that the NFL informed him and his producers they are no longer allowed to use league or team logos on any of their graphics. McAfee then showed a graphic previewing Monday night's game between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Browns in which he drew sketches of players and no team logos were used. McAfee repeatedly referred to the NFL as the American Professional Football League. He says we can still show highlights because we paid not one, not two, not three, but over $4 million to be able to do so, McAfee said. But we got word this morning we're not allowed to use any logos on any graphics. McAfee then seemingly issued a threat to the NFL about what his show coverage of the league might look going forward. It's been great doing business with you. I'm happy we've covered your league in the way that we have the last few years. I appreciate the league and everything it has done. I don't really think we have touched on many subjects that we could have dabbled into, and I think we'll do that this offseason. You know, things that a lot of about my friends that I know a lot about, like insurance and CTE and concussions and everything like that. I think we can find some people to chat about and learn about the NFL should be held accountable and we should feel we should be held accountable for. So all that kind of stuff. And I want to tell you, we got hit also. And listen, I kind of take it as a badge of honor. They're going after shows that are making an impact and shows that are on the forefront of NFL fans and things like that. And so the NFL hit us with a cease and desist about a week and a half ago or something like that. And we complied right away. And so you don't see, we don't use the logos anymore. We created our own. So it's just one of those things. And, you know, it's an adjustment that you got to make. And we'll make the adjustment. I'm not really worried about it. It's not the reason why people tune into our show. You know, people tune into our show for me and the guests. That's it. It's what they do. It's the information that we provide, not the logos or a highlight or something like that. We don't pay $4 million for highlights, so we don't live off of highlights anyways. Again, you watch the highlights all over the place. So it's not the end of the world that I can't use a highlight. But so I saw that story with McAfee, and that's funny because they're paying millions to run the highlights. Okay. And then they're not letting them use the logos. So we don't pay any rights fees for logos or highlights. Okay. Not that you guys are, you know, what am I going to do? Hey, listen, let's start a GoFundMe for $4 million to go pay for highlights. No, that would be a waste of money. We don't need that. There's plenty to talk about without the highlights. You know what I'm saying? Or the logos. So it is what it is. What are you going to do? Not a big deal. But hey, man, you know, I take it as a badge of honor. I'm glad that the NFL has noticed our show. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there are a whole bunch of other sites that they haven't gone after because obviously they don't feel that it's something of impact or anything like that that's affecting them. So there you go. How about those? That's different. That's different. That kind of stuff is different than the presenting stuff and all that. Yes, sir.
So, ESPN, Dan Orlovsky I guess kind of likes the Dolphins.
Yeah, he's actually been a Tua guy.
Yeah, no. He said Tua's worst play was that one throw where he almost overthrew Waddle for the touchdown. He was like, that was Tua's worst play of the first half.
Oh, okay.
Stretch out for the football.
Right. Yeah.
He put out, if the Dolphins think they're legit, which I do, they need to be less dependent on all-out pressure blitz-wise and get better people to help with a 4 or 5 man rush. To which Booger McFarland responds, "You are right, and help is on the way." ESPN 4 network boy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't expect Booger to have any kind of insight, to be quite honest. But, I mean, we'll see. Look, I know that they're trying to make a deal or two. Okay? Or two. I just don't know if it's going to be, like I said earlier, a big name because of all the issues they have coming up with other big names and salaries. So I think it's more about a rent a player. So I don't know what pass rusher rent a player, unless there's an older guy that's available, that's on an expiring contract or one that you can easily get out of, then I can see something like that. But like a Chubb, I just don't think so, dude. I just don't think so. I don't agree. So we'll see. We shall see. Let's see. ¿Qué pasó, Big O? Is it safe to say that the front office is undoubtedly solid on Tua as the guy moving forward because they're willing to offer a first rounder for Chubb? I don't know. Who says that they're willing to offer a first rounder for Chubb? Who's reporting that? I haven't heard anything like that. Let's see. Rams reportedly offered 2024 and 2025 first-round picks for Brian Burns. The Colts have fired offensive coordinator Marcus Brady.
There has been a trade.
What do we have?
The Vikings
Uh-oh.
traded with the Lions. Your boy, the tight end, TJ Hawkinson, is going to the Vikings.
Okay. Would they give
Minnesota
up at least a second rounder?
A 2023 second round, a 2024 third round to Detroit for Hawkinson, a 2023 fourth round, and a 2024 conditional fourth round.
They gave up also those conditional picks?
The Detroit did as well, yes.
Wow, they gave up 4 picks for him?
No. Minnesota gave up 2 picks. Minnesota gave up the 2023 second round and
the
2024 third round. In return, they got Hawkinson and 2 picks, the 2023 fourth round and the 24 conditional fourth round.
Okay, I got it. The conditional is probably that he signs a long-term deal. So then when he signs a long-term deal, you get that second conditional pick. That's probably what that condition is. And, of course, they're going to sign him to a long-term contract. You're not trading for TJ Hawkinson, and you're not going to sign him. He's a baller, dude. It's a baller. You got to play that guy. That guy's good. Okay. All right. All right. All right, what else do we have going on? But I don't see anything there that anybody I don't believe they put up a first rounder for Bradley Chubb. So I don't know who's reporting it or whatever, but I don't believe that. Okay? Just so you'll know. I don't believe that. Okay? So I'll go by what I know. I don't believe that they're going for Bradley Chubb. Okay? I think it would be a lot that they would have to trade for him, and then the money that they have to pay him and everybody else that they have coming up. I just don't think that that's going to happen, but you never know. The Judy kid, I think they really want to move, but Miami doesn't need Judy. But Chubb, I just don't. I just have a hard time seeing them trade all the capital for Chud, and then also have to re-sign all their guys that they have coming up in the next couple of years. I just think that that's kind of a little crazy. You know what I'm saying? What else do we have? Big O, how long does Dan Campbell have in Detroit? They're cheap, so they'll hang in there one more year with him. I think after the third year, they'll unload him, and then they'll swallow whatever salary is left. But, they'll let him make some adjustment to his staff, and then he'll have another rah-rah moment in the offseason, and then eventually, that candle will fizzle out like always. Cap for life. The future is now. Stop being afraid to be great. If you truly believe we can win now, make a move like the other elite teams are doing to make a real run. Well, that's your opinion. I'm going to trust the people that are building the franchise right now. If they feel that they can make a move for Chubb and pay him and pay everybody else, then go ahead. If they don't feel that it's worth all that money, then you don't do it. That's just the way it goes. Devin Jordan, Big O. I got my Adam Schefter turned on, hoping for a Dolphins trade. Well, you should have an Ian Rappaport turned on for the Dolphins trade. Okay? That's all. And make sure you're following our Twitter feed at Big O Show, because once we're off, okay? Once we're off, we could be breaking a story on Twitter. Okay? You never know. So follow us on Twitter at Big O Show. We'll keep you updated on anything going on with the Miami Dolphins if they're able to make a run at a player. What else do we have going on? Oh, yes. We yesterday. It's gambling is an interesting one, and we do it almost every day with our lockdown segment. We like doing that. So let's get to it, Sean. Let's make a pick right now with our LennyLocksmith.com lockdown segment.
Time to lock it down. The Lockdown is brought to you by LennyLocksmith.com. Services in South Florida from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, LennyLocksmith.com locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Here's the Big O to tell you what needs to be locked down.
All right. So yesterday we gave you under 45 in the Browns and Bengals game. And I got to say, if you watched the beginning of that game, you thought, all right, we got it. We got it. We're going to get that under. And if you watched the over that we had for the Bills and the Rams and the way the game that started with 30 points, I think the over and under was 47. And I think they scored 30 in the first half, 30, 31 or something. And you were like, all right, we're on our way to get the over. Did not happen. Well, yesterday, the game ended 32-13. We told you to go under 45. It was right at the number at 45. I mean, these guys in Vegas they're just phenomenal. Except for the Canes games the last couple of weeks. They've given us real gifts and haven't made it really hard, actually, for what do we have here? Okay. Anyway, so I'll read that after. All right. So we ended with a push. So we're 46, 38, and 4 now. So that number on the push goes to 4 now. We're still 8 over 500. Tonight, the Warriors are visiting the Heat. The game is picking. It's even. The over and under is 227, and both teams are minus 110 on the money line. And this is not a good look for the Heat, obviously, because they're home. But I would figure, I got to be honest, I thought the Warriors would be giving up points. I'm taking the Warriors in this game. Warriors against the Heat, picking. I think the Warriors end up winning this game, and unfortunately the Heat and their rough start continues to get a little uglier. They're not better than the Warriors. They're going to need a hell of a game. Can they win tonight? Of course. Of course they can win tonight. But I think that's a little bit harder to do than the Warriors winning. I think there's more of a chance of seeing the Warriors win. Then the other one is tonight on the ice. The Panthers are favored by 1.5 goals against the Coyotes. The Coyotes are a terrible hockey team. The Panthers, they're pretty good. I'm gonna lay the 1.5 goals here in this one. The Panthers are favored by 1.5 goals. I'm gonna lay it. I think they're gonna rout these guys. I think the boys are gonna come out on fire. I hope Tkachuk is all right. By the way, wait a minute. You know what? Is Tkachuk all right? Did you check and see if everything is good with Tkachuk there, Sean? Do you know if he's all right and ready to go? Because I know he got banged up in the last game. Let me make sure here. Let me make sure Tkachuk is ready to go. Because I know he got banged up, but I don't think it was serious when it's all said and done. Let me see before I include that, because I forgot to check that. Screwed up there. Here we go. Tkachuk could see himself playing for St. Louis, but he's happy to be a member of the Panthers. All right. All right. So there we go. All right. No, yeah, that's it. No, nothing. There's no injury news that Tkachuk is out or anything like that. All right. So I'm going to go with the Panthers. I'm going to lay the 1.5 in that one. So I've got 2 today. Panthers minus 1.5. Warriors picking versus the Miami Heat. Those are our 2 selections in our LennyLocksmith.com lockdown segment.
The Lockdown is brought to you by LennyLocksmith.com. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming. All model cars. 24-hour service. Call them anywhere in South Florida at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at LennyLocksmith.com where we lock it down.
All right. We'll see what happens today if the Dolphins are able to make a trade. We got till 4:00 today. We'll keep you updated on everything going on. I've got the Twitter feed going to see if I can see any kind of trades that are being mentioned. So we'll keep you updated with it. Right now, I don't see anything with the Dolphins. Nope. Nothing so far, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I can tell you. Nothing so far. We'll keep you updated on it all. Let's see. Omar Kelly has segments on Big O Show on Wednesdays. That's right. That is correct. Minnesota sends a 2023 second-round pick. Yes, we know already. We talked about that for the trade. Finn should call Colts about Stephon Gilmore. No, that's too much money. They're already paying a lot of money on their corners. Big O, what would you like to see Miami do today in regards to trades? A corner. I'd like to see a corner. That would be good. I don't know if there's a veteran pass rusher that's still available out there that could be had. I'm not talking about a high end pass rusher because again, I just worry about the salaries. I don't know if they're really willing to, give up a ton of salary in the process. And they like their picks, and they don't have a ton of them, and they're going to want to use some of those picks to create more picks too. So corner would be one that I would like to see. I would love to see a safety that's multifaceted like Brandon Jones, but you're not going to find one of those. Really, really hard about that. Joe Hayden, he's done. That's what I feel. Okay? He's done. And I'm surprised that Cam Akers hasn't been traded. That's another one that you could look at. And that would be an interesting one. I think he's had some injuries too, so he may not command nearly as much. Remember, if you want to get in on the Welt Rheaume text line, we'll go to it in a minute at 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056 if you want to get in on the Welt Rheaume text line. When sports and business collide, folks, there's something we love doing on this show, and it is called the KSDT CPA Sports Business Report. All righty. We love talking a little KSDT CPA Sports Business Report because sports and business, they collide all the time. And if it wasn't for that, well, we wouldn't have a show. We wouldn't have sports. You need it to collide. And cryptocurrency is going to be an enormous part of sports. You're going to see it in the World Cup. The World Cup and FIFA, they are on the Algorand blockchain. I love Algorand. I've always been an Algorand guy for a while now. So cryptocurrency, by the way, as you all know, Crypto.com, they are the sponsors of the Staples Center. Since then, the crypto market, of course, has had a big old crash like everything else. But Crypto.com has continued to grow. They cut a $700 million check last year to AEG. Coinbase paid for a big NBA deal, more than double, right, that what Crypto.com spent. And despite the bear market going on right now, Crypto.com has passed 70 million user mark, up from 50 million users in May. From 50 to 70, from May till now. The platform had 10 million users in February of 21. Okay? I was one of those 10 million. Our sports marketing partnerships have been central to putting Crypto.com on the map and helping drive our exponential growth over the past 2 years. Crypto.com's eye-catching deals, a deal that made them the crypto trading platform for FIFA World Cup in Qatar, a 10-year, $175 million partnership with the UFC, another 5-year, $100 million deal with Formula One, and individual deals with a list of teams from leagues and athletes like LeBron James, and, of course, the Crypto.com arena. We've been through these cycles as crypto people. The people who run this company are seasoned people. We're not 20-year-old kids who are starting our first company. And in the context of these deals, we only did deals we knew we could handle. We weren't spending out of our control by any means. We had a budget. And they continue to grow. Crypto continues to grow. It will be a major part of your lives every single day. When you buy a movie ticket, when you buy a concert ticket, when you buy a sporting event ticket, you're going to see Algorand everywhere in the World Cup. Everywhere. And they will have from money to transactions to purchases to NFTs, all kinds of stuff. Telling you, it's a part of it. That is your KSDT CPA Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All righty. There we go. Hialeah Park will be there on Thursday, broadcasting live. We're looking forward to it. It is time to talk to Joe Shad. Let's get into a little hijinks with our Hijinks Sports Grill Miami Dolphins report. Let's bring them aboard.
Dolphins fans, it's time to talk to the man with incredibly high standards. It's not easy to score an A or grade 10 out of 10 with this guy. In fact, he isn't impressed with Joey Chestnut's dominance, Usain Bolt's speed, or even Evan Ginkel's locks. Will the hijinks continue? Can the Miami Dolphins do the impossible by getting a passing grade with Joe Shad? It's time for the Hijinks Sports Grill Miami Dolphins report. This report is brought to you by Hijinks Sports Grill in Boca at 133 Southeast Meisner Boulevard. Enjoy happy hour 4 to 7 p.m. Reserve a VIP table online and receive one free sparkling wine. Follow them on Instagram at Hijinks Sports Grill. Here's Miami Dolphins insider Joe Shad.
There he is. He's locked and loaded. And are you free from jury duty, or have you been hook, line, and sinker in there? What's the deal?
So I'm not allowed to discuss the details of the trial, but this is the first jury I have ever served on, and it is very interesting. It is very fascinating. There are times, Big O, where I want to jump up and ask the witness a question myself. I'm not allowed to do that, but sometimes I think that it's kind of like when you're in a press conference with head coach Mike McDaniel and you're looking over at the other guy like, well, why did you ask that question? You could have asked it so much better. And I'm hoping that today's day one of the trial, and then we're supposed to come back next Monday, and hopefully it'll be a 2-day civic responsibility. But I am pleased to serve my community.
Every time I've gone, I've never been chosen. I mean,
shocker.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the ash of cross that I put on my head when I walk in. I don't shave for 4 days and shower for 5. So when I walk, I don't know why it is that they never keep me there. I don't know what it is. It's
the excuses of the people that were trying to get out of this. Yeah, people that were trying to get out of this yesterday. Couldn't believe.
Come on, give me a good excuse. Did you hear them? Were they public out there? Were they talking?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Come on. Give us a doozy.
One guy said, I cannot judge another man. Only God can judge that man. And I'm sitting there like, oh man. And another lady said that the Starbucks she worked at could not function without her.
Well, I mean, she might be a kick-ass barista. You never know, bro. Those people are, if you can't draw Joe Shad's face on a coffee, then, she can do that. So that's a skill that if nobody else can do that, only she can draw Joe Shad's face on the top of a coffee. I mean,
listen, I want to be clear. There's nothing wrong with working in a Starbucks. I would do it if I needed a job, and I love Starbucks. But to say that that's why I can't serve on a jury, I don't know.
I will say baristas are pretty cool. How they can do that crafty stuff on the top of your coffee. That's a gift. That's actually really, really cool.
They brought in 42 potential jurors. They chose 7, including an alternate, and of course, so it's at 1 out of 6 odds. I should go hit the Seminole Hard Rock Casino.
Yeah. Either that or I don't know do you think that's a good luck thing what you just did or a bad luck thing?
Listen, I did not speak up and say I didn't want to be there. That's probably why I'm here today.
Yeah, that's probably it. You were un-American. The American thing to do is, I can't do this. I'm busy. I don't have time for you people. He's guilty. That's it. Throw the key away. That's all.
The dynamics in the
That's the other thing I do when I get there. I tell them, jail all these bastards. And then somehow or another, they don't keep me around. I don't know.
I'm already quite annoyed by two of the jurors. I don't want to tell them that they annoy me, but I'm hoping this doesn't last too long.
All right. Well, let's annoy you talking about the Dolphins now.
Okay.
All right. Well, trading deadline, bro. This is what's on everybody's mind right now. Roquan went. I keep getting asked about Bradley Chubb, although I don't believe the Dolphins are in the market for a big-time free agent. I think they're trying to either rent a player or somebody a little cheaper, because I'm trying to explain to people, Brandon Jones, I know got injured, but he's pretty much up for a contract very soon. Javon Holland, Tua, Christian Wilkins, Jalen Waddle. These are 5 guys that you're going to have to pay over the next couple of years. There's going to be a lot of big contracts being dealt by the Miami Dolphins over the next couple of years. So I'm not convinced that they're trying to trade for a big name. I think they're trying to trade for somebody that can get them by, not necessarily somebody that they have to commit to long-term and give up a lot of capital that they now have less of because of the penalties. Your thoughts on that?
I mean, over the years, you've seen the Dolphins pick up backup center, third guard, fifth corner type, for 6th, 7th rounders, 5th, 6th, swap of a 5 and a 6. We certainly wouldn't be surprised if any of those types of transactions are made. Do the Dolphins want to invest heavily in a guy who's going to come with a big contract? I don't know that they're on the verge of a championship. This is a developing team, a young team. Are you ready to think that you're going to beat Buffalo and Kansas City, and are you a legitimate Super Bowl contender? I don't know that this team is at this time.
Yeah. So you're with me. You don't think? Plus all those contracts they have coming up.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a lot of contracts that are coming up because they're actually now hitting on their picks. Do you realize, by the way, Joe, that they have hit on 5 of their last 7 first-round picks for a team that never used to hit on their picks? Do you realize?
You're not counting Benogany and Jackson?
Right. Those are the 2, 5 and 2.
Who are the 5? Phillips, Tua, Waddle.
Wilkins.
Tua, Phillips, Waddle, Wilkins. Good player. Who's the 5th one? Let's see. O-line, running back, D-line, linebacker.
Who's the other
Holland
one?
is a 2nd rounder.
No, Holland's a 2nd rounder. Who's the other one?
Baker is not a 1st rounder.
No.
Ogba's a free agent. Who are we missing? Oh, we'll come back around to it.
We're missing somebody. But anyway.
But listen, last year's draft class, obviously, very, very good.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you look at
but those guys aren't up yet. Holland and Phillips.
You got 2 years.
Are all in their 2nd year.
No, but Holland is only 4 years.
True.
Brandon Jones is only 4 years. Those guys. So after year 3, as you know, you're going to be negotiating with Holland already after year 3. With Jones, you may have bought yourself a year now because of the injury. So you can tag him and you can play that game.
There hasn't been enough discussion about Wilkins. It's a little weird, right? Because this is his
that's right.
year.
No, the other one is Minka. It was the pick.
Okay.
It's not. That was a hell of a pick. It was just Chris Greer was forced to trade him because of the whole flow thing. But it's not like it's a failed pick. That was a good pick. So Minka was the other one. Thank you all on the chat board for helping me out there.
And the Dolphins can tag Wilkins, and that would be a more expensive tag than Gesicki. But probably a safer bet than Gesicki was.
Yeah, but I think you want to sign him now, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
I think because the big money comes in 2 years. So before you have to pay, because Tua's contract after year 5, because what they'll do, Joe, after his 4th year, they'll renegotiate a new deal for him where it'll be after that 5th year. And so then the money really won't go up crazy until after that 5th year. And then that way you buy yourself a couple of years before that big money kicks in. So if you pay Wilkins now early on and try to get that front load the contract in the first 2 years, so you can kind of get him out of the way and keep his number a little lower. So when Holland, Tua, and those other guys come up in 2 years, that number is not nearly as crippling.
Yeah, I mean, if the Dolphins end up trying to compete for a championship while Tua Tagovailoa is under a $30 million plus a year contract, that's going to be a lot harder. It really is. It's going to be a lot harder. You're going to have to make tougher decisions. And so, as well as Tua is playing now, at some point, they're obviously going to have to make a decision about how committed they are to him. And you look at it, I mean, Baltimore has yet to firmly commit to Lamar Jackson. So there's a lot of apprehension from these franchises about giving anyone 30 plus million.
Well, I think Lamar's problem is he wants serious guarantees, and because he's a running quarterback, that just because that's a whole different ballgame and another mess. By the way, the Nets have fired Steve Nash. How about that? He of the bad hair.
They should fire Kyrie Irving. I mean, that's an absolute joke.
I know
that guy. Him and Kanye need to go just to another island.
They're a disgrace. I'm 100% with you. And his explanation for why he was, supportive of that disgusting film and book and all that. It just, it's just. But then again, you know what, Joe? We're dragging ourselves down because of crazy people. And that's why they're crazy. And this is why they do things like this. And this is why we can't pay attention to crazy people. But we give crazy people a damn platform. And, this is what happens, unfortunately.
You got to be careful. You got to be careful who you invest in. Draft picks, money, guaranteed money.
Yes.
Yes.
By the way, following up your point on the quarterback part, when they do pay him, I will say this front office has passed the test because they're not the team that relies only on first rounders. They do a very good job with their middle and late round picks and street free agents. They find undrafted and street free agents like a Snell now is the latest, just like a Seiler has been before, and Shell. Sealer.
You're 0 for 2. Keep going.
Yeah, Seiler, Snell, Shell, whatever.
And Sealer.
Anyway, so they find these guys all the time.
And Kohu.
And they, Kohu. Yeah,
and
so
McKinley.
Yeah, you're going to need to be good at that once you pay your quarterback. Every team needs to be good at that. But the Dolphins have kind of proven that, Joe.
And scheme. The Dolphins are third in the NFL in yards per play, which is just mind-blowing. We knew that there was going to be a huge improvement with Mike McDaniel. This is a proven scheme. This is a winning scheme. This is a scheme that fits Tua Tagovailoa and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. And so you can win on offense and defense with scheme. And, Josh Boyers, Bill Belichick, Brian Flores, Dean Pease, Patriots defense is proven as well.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you there. Joe, we look at what was I going to ask you now? I brain farted now last night. So first of all, we watched Tua, obviously becoming a star before our eyes and one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. That's not up for any more discussion at this point. But then yesterday, you watched the Browns beat the Bengals. And, Jabroni has actually had a decent year this year. Yeah, I got it wrong also. So Jabroni has actually had a decent year. How does that make Brian Flores look when Tua's kicking some serious ass? And if you kept Flores, you might have ruined that quarterback, by the way, and ruined the chance to have a franchise quarterback, which Miami hasn't had since Marino. But even Jabroni Brisket plays better without Brian Flores. So I'm just wondering, how's this look for Brian Flores? It was Flores' biggest mistake. I mean, listen,
he was let's see. He was stubborn. Well, hold on. No. He was stubborn and abrasive and not very nice to people, including the media. But his biggest mistake was not getting the offensive coordinator right. He went from Chad O'Shea. See, I'm 0 for 1. There's
There
one
you go.
E for me.
I'm influencing you. I love it.
One E and E2 for Joe Shad. From Chad O'Shea to Chan Gailey, who was actually the most successful one. And then everyone knew that his failure to get any of the 8 or so offensive coordinators that he interviewed to both convince him that he should hire him and to agree to work with Flores. That was the biggest error right there, because then he had to go to the Godsey Studesville combination. Both very nice guys, but not offensive coordinators.
But you never believed in your quarterback either. So you couldn't figure out your coordinators, but you also never believed in the quarterback, which was also a huge mistake on his part. So overall, he really couldn't assess anything the right way. He couldn't assess getting the right coordinators, and he couldn't assess the quarterback talent that he actually had.
Well,
so it really,
I'm not to defend Flo, but the player that we're seeing right now is not the player that Brian Flores or I saw in practice his first 2 years. So he's a better player.
Well, of course you're going to be a better player when you have better coaches, you have a better line.
But he's physically, he's got more reps and understanding defenses, and he's also physically stronger. He's healthier. He's got a quicker release. His personal trainer, who sometimes, challenges me on Twitter.
Joe, you're going overboard, bro. He didn't have the coaching. He didn't have the talent, bro. Simple as that.
No, but he's also
the rest of the stuff was going to come. The rest of the stuff was going to come with experience.
No, let's give Tua and his personal trainer credit for helping him get stronger and healthier.
But that was all going to come with time, just like the experience and all that. He was always going to be a baller, but you have to put the right people around him, or else he's not going to be able to do, his job. That's what he was at Alabama. When he had real coaching and a real line and real talent around him, he could go out there and do his thing. Look, last night, Tua does not get any break like Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's line is shit. He lost his number one receiver, and even though they have the number one receiving core, because they're supposed to have all 3 receivers, but they lost their number one guy. If Tua was playing last night in that uniform, it's cut him. He sucks. We should have gotten Deshaun Watson. We should have traded for Brady. We should have done this. We should have done that. And he never gets that break. He never gets that understanding.
Well, there's an overreaction. There's an overreaction from week to week in the NFL. As it comes to NFL quarterback evaluations, that is
no, but nobody's ripping Joe Burrow, dude.
Well,
nobody's ripping Joe Burrow.
I'm sure somebody wrote that Burrow had a bad game. I didn't actually watch it, but
there's a difference between having a bad game and you suck, and they shouldn't have drafted you, and you're too short, and this and that. That's what would have happened yesterday. That's what I'm telling you.
There's been 2 camps. One, those who are overly critical of Tua, saying that the story had been completed before it had. And even I did not say that the story had been completed.
Yes.
The story was not over. But then there's the other camp, and Dave Hyde, our friend from the Sun Sentinel, made an interesting reference to this in his most recent game day column. He said that some crowned Tua before he is showing what he's showing now. So it's sort of both ends of the spectrum. The wild supporters who claim that.
But you know what Dave Hyde. You know what Dave Hyde clearly leaves out. Okay. I'm right. Okay, I'm right. I said he would be a star. I told you, and you called me crazy, right? You probably still think I'm crazy. I take Tua over Herbert. I said you can go look at it a year and a half ago. The video's there. You can't hide it anywhere. I said he's a Pro Bowl quarterback. If you put the right people around him, he's a Pro Bowl quarterback. But what Hyde can't see, the problem with that argument that's so weak on Hyde's part is those of us that actually thought he was a star, we were right. Those that thought he wasn't, well, you're dead ass wrong. That's how some of us looked at the guy in Alabama and said, okay, he's got Saban and a hell of a staff and receivers, and he's kicking ass, and he won a national title. Now he comes here and he doesn't have shit. No wonder he's not doing well. That's the way I looked at it.
Listen, kudos to you for being consistent in your belief in Tua, okay? But for most of us, our opinions and our analysis are fluid based on the evidence that is being provided. And I don't think there's anyone that needs to apologize for that. I'm not going to apologize for the fact that entering the NFL draft, I wrote 12 columns about why the Dolphins would regret it forever if they didn't draft Tua Tagovailoa. And I'm not going to regret for writing some columns during the first 2 years of his career saying, gosh, we sure haven't seen what we'd hoped for yet. No apologies needed. No apologies, except I get these text messages, fill out this apology form. That's ridiculous. There's no apology.
Oh, you should. You should fill it out. At least Pete Prisco laid the sword down, bro. Yesterday, he like, all right, to a non-stop calling me. That's it. I'll admit I was wrong, and that's it. There you go. That's all. Because too many people put his ass away when he wasn't healthy yet, when he didn't have help, and it's just kind of funny. I'm just
Listen,
glad.
But this is fun. This is great fun. Listen, this is great fun.
I'm happy for I'm happy Mike McDaniel got here, dude. Because if Mike McDaniel doesn't get here, Joe, where's the Dolphin Nation?
One thing that fans need to realize, and I love the fans, and I love their passion, and I'm a fan too of other teams and other sports. Us sports writers, us sports journalists, we love this. We love that Tua is first in the NFL in passer rating and first in yards per attempt and sixth or whatever it is in completion percentage and first in QBR. We want to cover a winner. We want to cover a winning team. We want to cover an exciting offense with big plays. This is great fun. I haven't been cleared to travel yet. I was trying to go to Chicago, and the doctors won't let me on the plane. But I am. I'm really hoping to. I'm going to cover a couple of the California road trip, Buffalo, and New England. It's interesting. I saw Colin Cowherd moving the goalposts a little bit, and I agree with that phrase, saying, "Okay, well, is this offense going to play well in the cold?" I'm going to ask you this, Big O. Okay, it is true he has had a couple of poor moments in the cold and wet conditions late in seasons. Do you think it's fair to bring up, hey, let's see how he does in those conditions? Is that fair?
Yeah, sure. If that's what you all are worried about, that's fine.
Okay.
He's a baller, bro. He's a baller in any weather. He's a baller in any game. The problem is what you guys were watching was a guy that still wasn't healthy and was playing behind a terrible offensive line, did not have weapons, and it put him in positions that he lacks the same thing that Joe Montana lacks. And he lacks the same thing that Bob Greasy lacks and Drew Brees. They're not built like Josh Allen. They're not built like Marino. They're not built like Elway. They're different kinds of quarterbacks, and I keep trying to explain this to people. And Joe Montana could not go up in Buffalo in the middle of December in swirling winds and throw a 50-yard bomb because he didn't have the arm for that.
So the run game is going to be important.
The run game, and what he kills you inside a 35-yard box. That's what he does. He kills you. He assassinates you inside a 35-yard box. He doesn't need to throw it 70 yards downfield. And nobody does anyways. They might do it once a game, once a month, whatever. People, again, they live in this fantasy world that we're throwing 50 and 70-yard bombs when Pat Mahomes and everybody else is throwing 5-yard passes like it's going out of style.
So Tua has thrown it down the field more than I expected.
Of course.
He's got more air yards than I expected.
Yeah. Well, he can do that. That's
listen, Tua did say that he worked in the rain and cold in the off season. So it is something that Tua took it upon himself, knowing that he grew up in Hawaii and played in Alabama, to try to seek out the cold.
Joe, I keep telling you and all the guys that come on, he listens to us. And he's listened to all you freaking haters that he's too short and he doesn't have an arm and he can't throw in the rain and he gets injured and he's not tough enough and he's not smart enough and he doesn't work and all that. And he told Maria, I'm taking receipts. And he goes to practice with his brother in Maryland. And why? Because he hears this shit. And I keep telling everybody, and they keep thinking, oh, no, he doesn't. Yeah, he may not sit there in front of a TV listening, but he's getting it secondhand from Nick and Norland, from a friend, from his brother, from his father, from his cousin, from somebody else. They're all telling him all this shit. And this is what drives him to play like the maniac that he is and gets hurt and all that shit, because he wants to prove to everybody that every negativity that you say of him is wrong. And I wish that he would tune everybody out, because that's been a problem. And the examples are there that he does listen, listen.
I mean, well, listen, I mean, Derek Jeter to Kobe Bryant to Tom Brady, legends all admit at some point, whether it's after their career or not, that they are fueled and motivated by criticism. And so that's okay.
Yep. All right. Tell them what you're working on the Palm Beach Post, my friend, outside of
right now I'm working on this jury trial, but I'm looking forward to getting back to camp tomorrow and listening to Tua Tagovailoa talk about how he has begun to fully grasp the offense, which is really just amazing. I mean, think about, he's it's 8 games, but he's only played 5 of them in full. And so, maybe the ceiling is a lot higher than we all thought. That's something I'm going to think of writing about this week. And also the fact that the Dolphins have some stars now. That Brian Flores' thing was always, I don't believe in stars. And Mike McDaniel, man, he believes in stars. He believes in everything that goes with that.
Yeah. Well, ask Flores. He's got all those rings because there's one star that took him all the way every time. And the Bucks fans also appreciate that one star that put it in there always. All right, my brother. Appreciate you. Have a great week, and thank you. We'll catch up later on in the week, my friend.
See you, bud.
You got it. The great Joe Shad with our hijinkssportsgrill.com Miami Dolphins report. hijinkssportsgrill.com. Go check out the website. Better yet, go to the Instagram page. It might be one of the hottest Instagram pages on the planet. Okay. Sometimes I got to tell you guys, and then, you're still lazy and you don't go. And so sometimes what you need is you just need like somebody to show you, show you physically what it looks like to be at Hijinks Sports Grill. Okay. Let me see here. Let me see if I can do this for you guys here. Just to kind of give you a little, they're coming at you. There you go. Huh? That's Halloween. That's Halloween at Hijinks Sports Grill. Okay. Halloween at Hijinks Sports Grill. It's just, it's a sports bar like no other, ladies and gentlemen. 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 Okay? Are you getting the point now? Yeah, that's a sports bar. Yeah, Boca Raton. Huh? What do you think about that? What do you think about that? Okay. The Hijinks honeys, the Hijinks beauties. They it is gorgeous women all over the place at Hijinks. Yeah, that's I'm just saying, when they're current and former Dolphin cheerleaders, that's all you kind of need to know. And there's only one location, and it's in Boca. So those of you that live up north, and those of you that visit South Florida, now you're going, maybe I should stay around the Boca area, and then I'll travel down for the game. Honey, I'm going to go over to Wow, you really like their food. Yeah. I'll bring you some. Don't bother, honey. Stay. I'll bring you the food. You stay. You watch television. I'm going to go to Hijinks. What I'll probably do is I'll probably eat there for a little bit, and then I'll order your food, and then I'll bring it fresh. Okay, honey? Oh, that's so sweet. You're welcome, honey. I'm always looking out for you. Have fun at hijinks, sweetheart. Oh, no problem. I will. Thank you. Gonna watch the game a little bit. Yeah, watch the game. Watch the game, my ass. All right. Anyway, Christopher Carter says last year's pass rush was added by strong man coverage. Can't do that this year. Yep. That's been the case, unfortunately, my brother. All right. We thank Joe Shad. We thank Cameron Wolfe. We thank all of you for tuning in and keeping it locked here as always. We will see you tomorrow morning, 8:45 in the morning, early Wednesday, because we got Inside the Paint from 9 to 10 with Ira Winderman and Kurt Heelan. And tonight, 7 to 8, State of Florida Gridiron Roundtable, and then 8 to 9, baby. Yeah, Mike McCoy and the Miami Hurricanes watch. There you go. We thank Sean Stanley, as always, mastering this entire platform, and everybody that tuned in. We love you all. We'll see you later on this evening at 7 o'clock. Y'all be good.